This is the Laughlin Town Advisory Board, Laughlin Regional Government Center, 101 Civic Way, Laughlin, Nevada, 89029. Today is August 12th, 2025 at 1:30. Items on the agenda may be taken out of order. The board may combine two or more agenda items for consideration. The board may remove an item from the agenda or delay discussion relating to an item at any time. No action may be taken on any matter not listed on the posted agenda. All planning and zoning matters heard at this meeting are forwarded to the Board of County Commissioners, Zoning Commission, BCC, or the Clark County Planning Commission, PC, for final action. Please turn off or mute all cell phones and other electronic devices. Please take all private conversations outside the room. With a 48-hour advance request, a sign language interpreter or other reasonable efforts to assist and accommodate persons with physical disabilities may be made available by calling 702-455-3530, TDD at 702-385-7486, or Relay Nevada toll-free at 800-326-6868. Supporting material provided to the board members for this meeting may be requested from Tammy Harris at 702-298-0828. Supporting material will be available at Clark County Department of Administrative Services, 500 South Grand Central Parkway, 6th floor, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89155. Supporting material will be available on the county's website at clarkcountynevada.gov/Laughlin TAB. I'll now take roll call. I am here. Kathy Oakes.
Here.
Bradley Beck.
Here.
Fred Doughton.
Here.
Kathleen Haas.
Here.
Our secretary, Tammy Harris, can be reached at 702-298-0828 or tammy.harris@clarkcountynevada.gov. Our county liaison, Mark Moskowitz, can be reached at 702-298-0828 or 702-455-6173, or mark.moskowitz, MOSKOWITZ, @clarkcountynevada.gov. We've had the call to order.
Roll call.
And roll call. Fred, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Now is the time for public comment. This is a period devoted to comments by the general public about items on this agenda. No discussion, action, or vote may be taken on this agenda item. You will be afforded the opportunity to speak on individual public hearing items at the time they are presented. If you wish to speak to the board about items within its jurisdiction but not appearing on this agenda, you must wait until the comments by the general public period listed at the end of this agenda. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Please step up to the speaker's podium. If applicable, clearly state your name and address, and please spell your last name for the record. If any member of the board wishes to extend the length of the presentation, this will be done by the chairman or the board by majority vote.
Good afternoon, members of the board, members of the community. Evan Needham, World Economic Support Agency, last name Needham, Needham. This is an exciting meeting. We have a full packed room. I'm glad everybody was able to get seats today, so that's a good thing. As you know, our mission with the agencies, with the LEDC and the World Economic Support Agency, is to look for the long-term economic sustainability of Laughlin and the surrounding valley. With that, we look for programs, projects, and initiatives that are going to help us achieve that mission and help us unlock the opportunities that this community has. So in that search, I had the privilege of meeting with the Advantis group. I met with Jake and his partner Alex, as well as their team that's here today. And I had a great discussion with them. And part of that was to really understand the purpose of this project, understand what their intent is, and how are they actively trying to see what they can do to advance Laughlin's community. That's the forefront of my focus and what we want to analyze when we bring in any type of projects or programs into our community. So with that being said, after speaking with them, I do believe that it is within the interest of Laughlin to listen out to this project and actually look at the positive ends of what this program is going to unlock for our community, as well as the opportunities that's going to come with it. So I kindly request that you guys strongly advise or consider voting in favor of bringing this project back to life. I think it's going to be a good asset to our community for the long term. I do believe it comes with a lot of open opportunities. And this is just the start of the discussion, and obviously it's going to go on from there, but I ask you guys to consider supporting this cause.
Thank you. I will now combine items 3 and 4, approval of the minutes for July 8th, 2025, and approval of the agenda for August 12th, 2025, and hold, combine, or delete any items.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Motion carries.
Receive a report and updates from the South County Liaison, Mark Moskowitz, on the back-to-school health and wellness fair from August 2nd, Clark County designation as a public heart county, and any other updates from Clark County.
Thank you, Chair. We're having a few technical difficulties, so the PowerPoint's not going to work. We might try to zoom in on my screen here. First thing I want to talk about is we had our back-to-school event. Thank you so much to the community for showing up and all our community partners. We had a dental van, Clark County Fire, Metro's there, UNR, UMC, Silver Rider, the library, the school, Help of Southern Nevada, Bullhead Lions Club, and RTC. It was a really great event. So many resources were able to be given to the community. I also want to remind everyone, back to school started yesterday, so please be aware it's school zones. That's the time of year, so take it slow. I also was invited by Principal Moss from the elementary high school to go to another back-to-school event on Friday. We handed out about another 100 backpacks, so it was a really great event with the community. Our office still has a few backpacks, so if there's anyone in the community that doesn't have a backpack or maybe one broke after the first day, we've got a few, so please contact our office. We're more than happy to give them out. We've got some notebooks in them as well. So this, I don't know if we'll be able to see it. It's supposed to be, so Clark County's been designated as a Purple Heart County, which is really awesome because the month of August is observed as Purple Heart Month. And the official day is August 7th, and it's commemorating the historic day in 1782 that General George Washington, Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army, commissioned the first Purple Heart medal. So Purple Heart counties are usually, they put signs when they welcome you into the state that says that this is a Purple Heart County. And from that map there, it's a little hard to see, but there's 13 entry points into Nevada, which has now 13 signs. So I'm not going to show all the signs, but I'm going to show some that are close in our area. As you can see here, this is the first, it's probably hard to see it, but that one is heading in from Searchlight, kind of when you take 164 heading towards Searchlight. This one is coming in from California by Palm Gardens. So right before you come to the turnoff right there, you'll be able to see it. It says the Purple Heart County. This one is on Needles Highway, so that's kind of like if you take Needles Highway all the way to California, coming the other way, you'll see it. This one is on our Silver Copper Crossing, which we're very excited for. That's coming in from Bullhead to our side. And then the last one is on our newly named Donald J. Laughlin Bridge, which we'll talk about more a little later. So it's very neat that the county has done this, and these websites here, if you would like more information, it kind of talks about there's a Purple Heart Trail and also the Purple Heart Counties. So we're designated as a Purple Heart County, which is to remember our fallen members of the armed service. So we're very happy that we're able to install 13 signs at all of our entry points throughout the state. So this is a really great picture. I know Carrie Larson, who's here today with the Laughlin Chamber, will be able to talk more about it, but I want to be able to show the picture. Carrie's been a huge champion for getting the bridge named the original bridge, the Donald J. Laughlin Memorial Bridge. This was on August 4th. Carrie, thank you so much. You did a really great job of organizing so many important people to be there for the bill signing. So thank you, Carrie. Commissioner Naft really appreciates everything you've done. You've been a huge champion for this, so I just want to show that picture. And with that, that concludes all of my updates. So thank you.
And I would just like to add that not all Purple Heart recipients are deceased. We have one sitting right next to me, Fred Doughton.
Yes.
Receive a report from Lieutenant Rogers with Metro Police regarding activity and statistics during the past month and other areas of crime concerns. And not Lieutenant Rogers.
Didn't mention the newsletter.
I'm Sergeant Donnie Cox, Laughlin Area Command. So our update from July, go over some quick statistics from us. In July, call for service. This year we had 336 calls for service year to date, and 2024 was 322, 336 from June of 2025. There were 2 DUIs, 146 traffic citations, 8 adult battery and violence arrests. Thank you. Can you hear me now? There were 23 adult arrests booking over at the Tucker facility, but that's combined for all jurisdictions booking into that facility. 0 juvenile citations. Calls for service at the school were 0. And because this is our first week return to school, my team are out there on Needles Highway and all around the traffic area, slowing traffic down for the kids. Let's see. So the calls for service at the casinos, the Riverside, we had 38 calls for service, an increase of 11% from the previous July. 21 calls for service, 6% increase at the Harrah's, and Aquarius, 18 calls for service, and then nominal calls at the other remaining casinos. The apartment complex is relatively static. Actually, everything kind of decreased in July. Calls for service for the apartment complexes. Part of that is because of the Cops and Cones event that we continue to have over in the apartment complexes. So the presence that the officers have out there in those apartment complexes has increased greatly over this entire summer. So June, July, August, we continue to do these little events to make sure we keep connection with the kids in the community. Some upcoming events that we have in September 17th, another Red Cross blood drive will be here in this room. Tomorrow is Coffee with a Cop over at Bikini Bay Bar and Grill. We participated in the Back to School Wellness on August 3rd and the Kindergarten and Pre-K Roundup on August 5th. On August 18th at the high school, there's an event, the CPR Learn the Beat, where we'll be teaching, we'll be part of the team teaching with the kids to teach them basic CPR skills. In July 29th, my team went out to Las Vegas to participate with the LVMPD Foundation for backpack stuffing, where we brought 48 backpacks from Las Vegas from the LVMPD Foundation back to Laughlin to give out to the kids here. And we're preparing for Labor Day, so plans are underway to make sure that we have enough staffing and we're paying attention to our roads for Labor Day. The next Cops and Cones event will be September 24th at the Vistas at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And we're beginning our preparations, or finalizing preparations, for National Night Out in Searchlight, Laughlin, and our Trunk or Treat events. Any questions from the board?
I have a question. So I used to live at Crown Point, and there used to be police officers that lived there. So when you drive through the complex, you could see a police vehicle pretty much, a lot of times. Are there police officers that live at any of the complexes?
I don't want to talk about where the officers do or do not live. However, we do have a really good relationship with all the apartment complexes here in town. So over at Riverwood and at Desert Bay, it's Desert Bay now, they actually have cooling off stations that they've provided for the officers. So they have designated apartments where they're trying to get the officers to come in, cool off for a minute, use the restroom, grab a bottle of water. So at both Desert Bay and at Riverwood, they have some apartments that, so people in that area, they try to put those kind of in more the problematic areas where we'll have increased presence of officers. So like I said, probably a big reason for that drop in calls for service in those apartment complexes is because the officers are out there, we're on foot, not just driving through, but you'll see us walking through those complexes.
Awesome.
Madam Chair. Just out of curiosity, I know the Riverwood complex has just transitioned with ownership, and there's a grant going forward. Has Metro had a chance, or Lieutenant Rogers, to meet with the new owners?
We haven't met with the new owners. The management on the ground is still the same.
Correct.
So we have an excellent relationship with all of the staff and the management there. Actually, coming up next week, we have the apartment complex managers meeting where all of the managers from the various properties meet here in this room, and we discuss common issues.
And I know in the vetting process, because they were awarded a community development grant of $1 million towards their project from HUD funding, and I know that they had a large reputation of being largely involved with the community. So I'm just looking forward to that for you guys as well, to make contact with them.
Yeah, that
'Cause it's
construction is
family-owned.
ongoing right now, and we've had some calls for service in reference to early construction starts. But we respond. We're in the area, and we continue to communicate with the complexes.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Sergeant, I know you're very involved with the park area, the North Reach Park, and the homeless. What do you think is the two areas that the council or the county can do to help you solve that problem out there?
This is an issue that we've been trying to address going back since I came to Laughlin 2.5 years ago. We've made several recommendations to the county and Bureau of Reclamation. I put together a PowerPoint presentation, which I can make available to the board if you're interested. It's a combined effort that will take efforts from the county and Bureau of Reclamation to both remove a lot of the vegetation along some of those trails, like on the Heritage Trail. That vegetation needs to be trimmed back to increase visibility and access to parts of the trail. The riprap, which is the large boulders, needs to be laid down to reinforce the banks of the Colorado River because there's some severe erosion that's taking place. We were out there this morning taking photos. Those can be available for the board if you're interested. There's numerous points where the paved path on the Heritage Trail, the erosion is coming up to the pavement and is actually eroding parts of it. So it's getting to be a serious public safety issue when it comes to just using the paved path, not even the rest of the trail, which is a whole separate issue. As far as the homeless goes, my team and I work very, very hard. Legally speaking, we're required to do a homeless outreach, which we've worked with our HOT team and Help of Southern Nevada. They are amazing partners. Those guys are amazing. Came to Laughlin, did an outreach where we contacted 25 people, 5 individuals took services on the very first contact, which as far as ratios of people taking services on the first contact is unheard of, which those vacancies, we moved all those people away from the park through the outreach, but it left a lot of debris behind. Requests were made for the county to come in and assist us with the cleanup. That hasn't happened yet that I'm aware of. I've been out there on the trail at least twice a week going back several months now. The bridge under 163 right there at Casino Drive, that is a real problem. I was there yesterday morning, and after having several community complaints, moved some unhoused individuals along through an outreach. Other people came back, but the debris that was left behind was they were able to create more camps basically out of it right under the bridge. So they're propane tanks, grilling, cooking, living, fishing, hanging out under the bridge.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Receive a report from Sergeant Tim Waller with Nevada Highway Patrol regarding activity and statistics during the last month and other public safety concerns.
Good afternoon, Sergeant Tim Waller, Nevada Highway Patrol for Laughlin to Searchlight. Our activity for last month, July of 25, we conducted 451 traffic stops, issued 451 tickets, zero tolerance, as you can see. 62 commercial inspections. We had 3 property damage crashes, 3 arrests, and a total of 619 contacts with motorists between here and I-11. That's all I got. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Receive a report from Clark County Fire Department regarding calls for service during the past month and other fire prevention issues.
Good afternoon. My name is John Borla, B-O-R-L-A, with the Clark County Fire Department Battalion 13, which covers our Laughlin stations as well as Southeast stations in Las Vegas. As far as our calls for service, the month of July, we had 227 calls for service. Majority of those calls were EMS calls. We did have 14 fire responses during the month. Compared to year over year, we're down about 3% for July, but year over year for the whole year, we're up about 5.2%. For the year, we have 1,437 responses, compared to last year, 1,366. That's really all I've got right now. We're kind of focused right now with the back to school effort. And then I would like to just piggyback on what the sergeant said as far as brush and debris near the trails is going to create a safer fire environment too if we can clear some of that as well. That's always a plus. I know we deal with that a lot in Las Vegas at the Wetlands Park as well.
We used to get reports, actual reports that we could look at. Can we start getting those again,
Certainly,
please?
certainly.
Thank you.
I can leave this copy we can have copies made, what have you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Madam Chair, just one question.
Sure.
We have one more, major summer holiday
Yes.
here in September. Will we have I know the boat went in for some issues, but we had the personal watercraft. Will we have the boat back for this September holiday?
I just spoke with our mechanic. We're actually doing some tweaking on the repairs that were made, and they're going to be testing it tomorrow with the goal of getting it back in service as soon as possible.
Okay, so we'll have the 2 personal watercraft and...
That's our hope. That's our
Okay.
hope for sure, yeah.
Great,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Receive a report from Andrew Bennett, Clark County Director of Traffic Safety regarding development of the Safe Streets for All Southern Nevada Action Plan.
Good afternoon. Andrew Bennett for the record. Obviously, my name is Andrew Bennett, and I have the privilege of being your director of the Clark County Office of Traffic Safety. It's great to be back here in Laughlin. I had the opportunity to come before this board about a year and a half ago. We're undergoing one of our largest efforts on collecting information and putting together a plan for traffic safety. And so along with that plan, the RTC has partnered with the county. And so I'm going to pass it to my colleague, Danny Fazekas from the RTC with their Metropolitan Planning Organization, and then I'll wrap us up here in a few slides. So I'll pass it over to Danny.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Board. Daniel Fazekas, Transportation Planning Manager with the MPO.
Can you please spell your last name for the record? Thank you.
Fazekas, Transportation Planning Manager with the Regional Transportation Commission, with the for the Metropolitan Planning Organization, for the record.
Thank you.
So as Andrew mentioned, I'd like to introduce the Safe Streets for All Southern Nevada Action Plan, branded Let's Go Safely. This is a regional safety initiative aimed at reducing traffic deaths and serious injuries across Southern Nevada.
If we can bring up the presentation on there.
Thank you. Yeah, next slide. Thank you. RTC, the slide previous, I'm sorry. A little more. Sorry. One more. Thank you. So RTC publicly kicked off the Safe Streets for All Southern Nevada Action Plan back in June of earlier this summer, in partnership with NDOT and all local jurisdictions in Southern Nevada, law enforcement agencies, as well as first responders across Southern Nevada. I would like to acknowledge Andrew Bennett in this project. His commitment and partnership and guidance has really started this project correctly, making sure we're talking to everybody in Clark County. So thank you so much, Andrew. Next slide. So some background. In 2023, the RTC received $1.7 million in federal funding through FHWA, Federal Highway Administration, in the Safe Streets for All grant program. This grant program provides funding to all local governments for planning and building safety projects aimed at reducing traffic-related deaths and serious injuries on our roads. Next slide. RTC is developing this action plan for jurisdictions and agencies all across Southern Nevada. The program provides funding. The plan will continue to have RTC's commitment when it comes to talking to everybody. all community members throughout Southern Nevada. And we are making sure that we're going to hear from everybody, urban community as well as rural communities. And that's why working with Andrew is really important, and he can provide more background on the project.
So unfortunately, on the next slide, you'll see that we continue to head in the wrong direction with our fatalities on our roadways. The loss of life that we experience is significant. One of my roles in my job is I respond to every fatal crash that we have in Clark County that's on one of our roadways. And so I have been down here way too often for a community this size with the fatalities that we've experienced. And so as a state, we're sitting around just about 130 right now. This slide's a little off. And then for the first time in several years or in decades, the majority of our fatalities are occurring with folks out of the vehicle. So pedestrians, bicyclists, motorcyclists are the 54% of our fatalities in Clark County. On the next slide, it introduces our approach to traffic safety. You might have heard the 3 or 4 E's of traffic safety: education, enforcement, engineering, and EMS. We're transitioning to the safe systems approach, which was a part of that bipartisan infrastructure law. And the guiding principles are down there on the right. And at the end of the day, we understand that people are going to make poor choices or mistakes, whether it's behind the wheel, while they're walking, or while they're on their bike. But safety has to be proactive, and redundancy is crucial. An example that I can give about redundancy and what that looks like in infrastructure: I worked with the folks at Silver Rider to remove the bus stop from the other side of Cougar. That's a redundancy. If people don't have to cross the street, we're removing that possibility of them being hit. That's what we're talking about when we talk about redundancy is crucial. On the next slide, and I want to start with, I understand that Laughlin isn't on this slide, but that's a good thing. Laughlin not having a highlighted road is a positive benefit, and we'll get to how we want to add the feedback from the community here. But what we did is we put together a network, and largely it's urban Las Vegas, with Mesquite and Boulder City also on here. But the thing is, we had to change the methodology to ensure that Boulder City and Mesquite was going to be highlighted. If you compare, a road like Boulder Highway to any of your roads, it's not going to match up. And so we wanted to look at roads that were disproportionately impacted. And so the roads highlighted in blue are only 32% of the overall roadways in Clark County, but those 32% of roadways contribute to 77% of the fatal crashes. And so just because it's not highlighted doesn't mean it's not a priority for us, but we had to start with some methodology, and this is where we started. But how we need your help really starts with our 3 phases. We're currently in phase 1. We hope to have this project wrapped up by May of 26. And currently we're undergoing a regional survey. All too often, I believe government decisions are made in a vacuum. And so being a part of this project, we wanted to ensure that we had a robust community input. And so we have a lofty goal of 10,000 survey results. And again, I'm down here in Laughlin, this morning. I'm out at Lone Mountain this evening with Danny. We're back down in Searchlight this week as well. And we want to ensure that people understand that when they take the 5 minutes out of their day to do this survey, it will have an impact on the project. And so that's where we are with phase 1. Phase 2, we also have some walk audits and focus groups with some hyper-local surveys. And then with phase 3, we hope to have a list of projects prioritized, as well as any final recommendations moving forward. Also, one of my conditions on being a part of this project was this wasn't just going to be a document that lives on a shelf. We want to increase safety in the county. The Board of County Commissioners has taken the unprecedented step of having an Office of Traffic Safety. We're the only county in the state and one of the few in the country that has an Office of Traffic Safety. And so we plan to take action, and we continue to take action. So on the next slide, you'll see a part of the survey you can find on letsgosafely.com, or you can scan the QR code on the screen. One of the last questions, there's a really great tool that's a geolocator, and someone in Searchlight had fun with it last week because they let us know every problem in Searchlight. I think I was glad to see about 40, 50 results in Searchlight. And so it's geolocated. You can add a comment. This doesn't come directly to the county. We still want you to use Fix-It, for any emergencies. But just places where you're not feeling safe driving, walking, or biking, we want to hear in this in this tool. So again, you can scan that survey. It takes less than 5 minutes. The website is Let's Go Safely. And again, it has a geolocator tool that includes Laughlin, and we want to hear from you. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
I do have a question now. If there's an issue with, for example, at the top of Bruce Woodbury and Needles Highway, that's always having accidents up there. And there was talk about putting a circle in there. Does that come under you, or?
So at the end of the day, I recommend policy, and then our Public Works builds it. That's still very much in conversation with the Commissioner's Office and with the Public Works. We do have recommended countermeasures to reduce crashes at those locations, and that is one of them. But I think Mark will have an update shortly on maybe what the plans are there.
Thank you.
Do you know if there's any plans to put anything for, we have a department store, the Family Dollar. People cross on that street all the time. It's a blind turn coming around there. We've requested maybe a crosswalk. We've requested maybe a stop sign, a stoplight, something.
Yeah.
Is there anything in the works for that?
No, I appreciate that question. And one of the things that I'm proud of is I know each one of these issues that you're bringing up because I think you're well represented by Mark. I had a concern personally and professionally, in my professional opinion, about simply putting a painted crosswalk there. There is high speed on that road. There's a blind corner. And so I did make the recommendation that if we do something there, it's not just simply a crosswalk and that we do put up, enhanced infrastructure. And I would encourage people to go onto this survey, make sure that that spot is noted. I'm aware of it, or our Public Works is aware of it because of, Mark's communication of that concern. I think that we have seen some safety improvement projects come in down here, and I hope that we're able to address those shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Receive a report from Louis Lacey and Alyssa Johnson with help from Southern Nevada regarding resources and programs available to the community.
Well, hello, how are you? Hi. Thank you for having us here. We're very honored to be here.
If you could please state your name and spell your last name for the record.
My
Thank
name
you.
is Louis Lacey, Lacey. I am the Director of Homeless Response Teams for HELP of Southern Nevada. Hi. I am here to just give you guys a brief overview of what HELP of Southern Nevada does. HELP of Southern Nevada is the largest nonprofit social service agency in the state of Nevada. We are 55 years old, and we originally came from a project from the Junior League, which became very successful, and then we became our own entity, and we went from there. We currently have approximately 170 employees, and just a fun fact that this morning over 800 individuals, families, and youth woke up in a HELP of Southern Nevada program bed. We are contracted with Clark County to perform outreach for homeless individuals in all 8,200 square miles of Clark County. We come down to Laughlin about once a month, and we work with the officers to address any encampments and offer services to individuals that are living in places not meant for human habitation. I can tell you that today we also brought an outreach team, and we went to the park, and we had one female that agreed to get in the vehicle, and she is now in Las Vegas in shelter, and from there we will work with her again tomorrow morning to get her documents and everything in order, and then she will be placed in one of the county's navigation centers and will receive assistance going into long-term stable housing. So it does work. And how do I know that outreach works? Because I'm a person with lived experience, and I was on the street for a minute, and 2 police officers took an interest in me and they saved my life. So some people get arrested and some people get rescued. I most definitely was one that got rescued. That's why I do what I do. I am here to talk about a bunch of different things that we do. Obviously, help. Everybody thinks that help is, oh, it's the homeless folks. And yes, that's true. We do help a lot of homeless individuals, but we have a myriad of other services. And I'd like to talk about some of those services because I believe that that would help some of our constituents down here. One of the first thing I want to talk about is assistance in paying gas bills. HELP has a program with Southwest Gas that helps individuals receive up to $400 towards their gas bill. Now, I left a lot of material on the table so that folks could access it afterwards. This is the one for the gas bill. Also, weatherization. What is weatherization? Weatherization is a program that helps to kind of repair individuals' homes that may need critical repairs that are on a fixed income. We know that there are individuals that may have been living in a house or an apartment for a very long time, and then they don't have the money to replace an air conditioner, or maybe get their windows fixed, or maybe get some other type of repairs done to their home, and they have to make some hard decisions. Do I buy food? Do I pay rent? Do I pay property taxes? Do I buy medication? Or do I get this repair? So in a way, we like to say that the weatherization program is a homeless prevention program, because we know a lot of folks have lost their homes due to these repair issues. So we also have that, and it has the income rates and who you contact. And basically what happens is you would contact us, we would send someone out, they would do the assessment, then we would determine eligibility, and then a contractor would come out and do the work. It's really cool. Okay, also, one of the really cool things that we do is workforce services. Workforce services provides pre-employment services that empower participants to enter or re-enter the workforce. And we do that through support groups, networking, one-on-one, personal vocational counseling, job seeking, and job keeping methods. We do leadership development and decision and life skills making decision-making and life skills courses to help individuals not only to secure employment, but to be able to keep it and then get those supports that they need to hold on to the job. Okay, also, we have our Shannon West Homeless Youth Center, and this is something that we at HELP are super proud of. We know that if a youth is out on the street and they're homeless, it's only maybe 72 hours before they're approached for human trafficking or they're caught up in some type of really bad situation. The Homeless Youth Center is not a traditional shelter where you have to line up at 4 o'clock and then you have to leave like 6 o'clock in the morning. They live there from the ages of 18 till their 25th birthday, and they receive wraparound services. That means that they receive help with mental health, substance abuse, educational issues, the workforce development issues. We also have a behavioral health department that goes in there and does all the therapy and deals with all the trauma and all the other issues that go along with why youth become homeless. At this point right now, I think we have about 130 youth in the facility right now. And like we like to say, we come and visit them every day. They live there, it's their home. And so that is something that we are super proud of. Also, I would like to talk about the diaper bank. The diaper bank, I don't have that on there. The diaper bank is a program for women who are pregnant and are about to give birth, or those who have their babies with them. And you can go in and you come and see us, and we will provide diapers. We will provide wipes. We will provide formula. And as you know, there's a lot of different types of formula that babies have to have. And we, fortunately, through a plethora of donations, have a lot of that right on hand. But that's, I'm going to do the whole salesman thing, but that's not all, folks. So what happens is we also have car seats. and we also have pack and plays. And we have the associated classes so that folks they know how to put the car seat in, right? Or they know about, like they take a safe sleep class and they are able to learn about how to have the baby in the pack and play in its own bed on its back and not sleeping in the bed where we have a lot of bad things happen to the little ones. Okay, last but not least, in the interest of time, I brought a bunch of these. These are our resource guides, and these are like compiled. It's super condensed, right? But one really cool aspect, which we at HELP are super proud of, is that we have a QR code inside. And what this is this is a dashboard that we've developed that lives on the county's Help Hope Home website. And think about if you needed a certain type of assistance and you could type that into the search bar, and then, I know you guys can't see it, but a map shows up. And it literally shows you where the resource is, who you need to call, when they will be there, and what services they provide. We update this all the time. Like, we have a guy that pretty much that's what he does. And what happens is that the community feeds us all the information and they continue to update it, and this way it makes it interactive. Now, we originally made this for our guys that work out in the field so they could find the resources quickly, but we found out in short order that this should be forward facing and that anybody that can scan this QR code can get access to that, be it frontline workers, be it case managers, be it administrative people, or be it just citizens that want to know how to get help. So I would strongly suggest that everybody get a copy of this. We brought about 30 copies, and that is what we do. Now, last but not least is the question that's on everybody's mind, and that's what to do about the homeless, right? I can tell you that the problem of poverty and injustice has been going on since people have been living together in cities and towns and places like that. And it is not going on anywhere unless some extreme systemic paradigm shift were to occur. But now I'm going to speak as a person who's formerly homeless. These are human beings, and they made bad decisions, and some of them are trapped by their bad decisions. I used to tell people that I loved getting high and that I loved being homeless. Nothing could be farther from the truth. It was the lie that I had to tell myself so that I could live with the guilt and the shame of what I've done to myself. Okay, so what do our outreach teams do? Well, we have 29 individuals that go out into tunnels, into the desert, into washes, into abandoned buildings, into parks, on streets, behind the 7-Eleven, on the corner. Anywhere there are people living in places not meant for human habitation, our teams come. And when our teams come, they meet with individuals and they begin to build an authentic relationship. Now, that may take a few times because a lot of folks on the street have been through some stuff and they trust nothing, nor should they. But we offer a ton of services. What do we offer? We offer, first of all, the housing assessments and access to the community queue, which gets folks into a myriad of different types of housing, be that transitional living, be it long-term housing, be it some type of program that could be everything, like I said, from transitional to permanent supportive housing for those people that are really impacted by whatever type of issues, right? And that list is kind of administered by vulnerability. And it would, I could go on for a half hour just on that to try to make that picture clear. But let's talk about what else we do. We help with IDs. We help with birth certificates. We help folks get their Social Security. We have members from the Department of Welfare and Supportive Services that are in our offices every single day. And what they do is they help individuals get their SNAP benefits and their Medicaid benefits. Why is that important? Because when I was homeless, I did not have the mental stability to sit for 3 hours in a, and this is back when food stamps were paper, because I'm old. I would always leave the welfare office and then I would go to a supermarket and I'd steal. And I'd go like, look, I'm going to eat, so let me either eat in jail or I'm going to steal food out of the supermarket. No es bueno. No good, right? So what we've done is we've made it so that an individual can walk in and walk out that same day with help to get the food assistance or the Medicaid or Medicare assistance right then and there. So not only do we do that, let's go back to the IDs. When we help individuals get IDs, their birth certificates, their Nevada ID, their Social Security card, their Medicaid, whatever, we have safes that are built into our filing room, and we have a program called safekeeping. What we know is that we can buy a whole bunch of people a whole bunch of documents, and what happens is that their camp gets abated, or somebody steals their stuff, or somebody burns their stuff down. So with safekeeping, we are able to have them have a safe place to keep their docs. Why? Because all the fabulous housing programs I told you about will not accept somebody if they don't have ID. So this is what we thought of as a way, and they can come at any time and say, I want my birth certificate. Here you go, just sign it out. Oh, here, I want you to put it back in. No problem, put it back in. Right? All right. So also we offer substance abuse, mental health, and medical assessment and referral to treatment, which means that we work with all of our community partners. And if somebody says, I want to go to detox, we're taking them to detox. If they say, I need to go to the hospital, if it's something we can transport for, we will. If not, we're going to call 911 and get them to show up. The idea is to do two things. That is to be brokers of services and navigators of those same said services. So it's one thing to tell somebody you need to go somewhere. It's another thing to walk with them through the process and help them to be successful. While you're doing that, you can make the valuable assessments to see where a person's at and their ability to function, and then we can adjust from there to figure out how to wrap services around that person and get them help. Now, all of that sounds really cool, right? It just requires one thing, and that's for the person to say yes. And that's the hard part, because there were many times somebody came to me and said, you need to get help. And I was like, no, I just need to get high, right? And so it was when I came to the end of myself that there were two police officers that said, are you ready to get help? And I said, take me to jail or take me to get help. They took me to get help. I would not be here today if it wasn't for those two officers. So I hope that that was my spiel, and I hope that that helps. And if anybody has any information, it's in the back. And I also left my card back there. So if you need any help or anything like that, you can text me and say, hey, this is so-and-so, I'm in Laughlin, this is what I got. And then I will reach out to my regional outreach coordinator, who is Alyssa Johnson. And she's the one that actually does a lot of the magic to get the teams out where they need to go. Generally, it takes us anywhere from 24 to 48 hours to get out there. Sometimes a little longer, because there's 29 of us and there are over 8,000 homeless individuals. So we do the best we can, but none of this happens unless we all work together. And that means all the different agencies, including government, including law enforcement, including social services. We've got to work together, because this problem is bigger than just one person. It's not going to be a one-answer solution, and I believe this fight's going to be a while. But remember, these are human beings. No matter what, they're human beings. Okay, thanks, guys. Peace.
Thank you.
Receive a report from Jason Bailey with Big Bend Water District regarding the status of the water system.
That is some great work by Help of Southern Nevada. Thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board. Jason Bailey with the Big Bend Water District, here for our report for this month. As you may see, the report, the front end of it's a little bit different, with some requests from Mr. Doughton and Ms. Oakes for water treatment in the month of July. There were 290 acre feet. That equates to 94.5 million gallons of water. 2025 year-to-date total diversions is 1,819. Again, 592.5 million gallons, and you can see that compared to the total diversions of 2024 year-to-date. So slightly up from the same point last year. And then that next chart is our raw water meter data, which is the diversion data that we've reported, and then the finished water meter data, which is that demand data. That's something that Mr. Doughton has requested. We have spoken with him, and just for the record, we are aware that those meters are aging. They are old, and in our workshops that we've had, we've said that they are underreporting, and so those are two projects that we have on our capital program moving forward to replace those meters. As far as the water system update, our staff has done some cleaning, some repairing of some drain lines in the 780 zone and the 1000 zone areas, the clean brush from those sites, trash, debris to try to minimize those things, as well as wildlife from living within the brush and potentially impacting any infrastructure. They're currently servicing the treatment plant's finished water pump number 3 motor, and then also working on some areas with the decant pond. Wanted to provide a financial update as of the fiscal year ended June 30th. So these are preliminary numbers, and I wanted to report and note that they are preliminary. But the Big Bend Water District's accumulated debt balance is about $2.66 million, which is down from 3.47 at this point last year. So these are preliminary numbers. There might be a few other factors coming in, but those will be probably within the next few months will be sent to the state. And then what I wanted to do is just invite my colleague Bronson Mack, he's the outreach manager, to provide an update on some of the water rates workshops that we've held, as well as that process.
Thank you, Jason. Good afternoon. Bronson Mack, 1001 South Valley View here on behalf of the Big Bend Water District. As the operator of the Big Bend Water District, you are well aware that the Las Vegas Valley Water District has been working through a public process to consider a rate increase for Big Bend Water District customers. And we have a few objectives with this rate increase. It includes funding $9.7 million of additional improvements to water treatment and intake infrastructure within the distribution system. There's portions of the infrastructure that are beginning to reach the end of their service life and will need to be replaced or repaired before they ultimately fail. Some of the other objectives that we also have are to, Jason just referenced that $2.6 million of subsidy that's been provided by the Las Vegas Valley Water District. This rate increase will help to get the Big Bend Water District on a trajectory to build some funding reserves, make sure that they're obviously paying back that non-interest loan that is essentially being provided by ratepayers in Las Vegas. And then sort of the third objective that we have here is to ask the community, do you want to fund a new tank through the rate increase? And we've conducted 3 public workshops. Many of you on this board have attended those workshops. Many of the folks in the audience here today participated in at least one or more of those workshops as well. And we are still accepting public comment with regards to those options. Please visit bigbendwaterdistrict.com. If you weren't able to attend a workshop, you can visit bigbendwaterdistrict.com. You can get an overview of the rates there. You can also submit your comments or feedback through the website. We're going to continue to accept those comments through the end of the month. We had anticipated actually having this meeting be the meeting where we would come and give you a full update on the process and where we were and the comments that were received at this point. We still, however, have some outstanding inquiries that have come to us, requests for information as a result of the workshops that were done. We want to make sure that we're addressing all of that, providing responses to all of that information before we're bringing something back to this body. So our expectation is to be back before this board next month at your regular September meeting, and we will then bring forth some conversation and discussion for your consideration with regards to those water rates. And so we'll accept comments through the end of the month. And at that point, that completes our update.
You have any questions?
I don't have any questions right now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We spent a lot of time together lately, so I didn't have any more questions.
We appreciate that, Kathy. Thank you.
Receive a report from Will Smith with Clark County Water Reclamation District regarding the status of the wastewater.
Good afternoon, Will Smith, Clark County Water Reclamation District with the Laughlin Wastewater Reclamation Center. To give my statistics for July 2025, the Laughlin facility treated an influent flow average of 1.80 million gallons per day. That's treated influent. We cleaned and treated water returned to the Colorado River 50.623 million gallons, which converts over to 155.367 acre feet. Okay, last year this time, we treated an influent flow of 2 million gallons per day. We cleaned and treated water returned to the Colorado River 52.1 or 52.2 million gallons, which converts over to 160.029 acre feet. That's a decrease of 1.52 million gallons from last year, or 4.67 acre feet that was cleaned and returned to the Colorado in the past year. Attached is our influent monthly flow comparison chart for your reference. Sewer service complaints, we had none. Sewer odor complaints, we had none. Call before you dig tickets, we had 11 call before you dig tickets for the Laughlin facility for July. Attached, we also have our Clark County Water Reclamation District service rules and annual rates as are established. There was an increase as of July 1st, 2025 to $295.36. And each year, July 1st, 2026, we'll go to $307.16. July 1st, 2027, $319.44. July 1st, 2028, $333.84. That's an annual increase of 2.75%. After June 30th of 2029 will take place in 2029. Financial update, the facility right now is under the 2025-2026 fiscal year budget. Overall approved operating expense budget is $2,373 and $2,373,823, which included an approved operating maintenance expense of $1,365,000. Okay, currently there are no community impacting projects going on at this time, but in the future there's a project under the number of Project 2012, the Laughlin Lift Station number 2 Force Main Rehabilitation Project, which has been submitted and under review, but there is no project start date currently at this time. Any questions that I may get back for you?
Madam Chair, just a comment. I don't know if Jason Bailey's still here. I just wanted to thank you for indexing this across acre feet and million gallons on your reports. It's just much more clear, I think, for this board and possibly the public as well. So I wanted to thank you for getting that done.
Yes,
for
ma'am,
us.
my pleasure. Anything else I can give for you, just let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. Have a great day.
Receive a report from Mike Jackson, Executive Director with Southern Nevada Transit Coalition.
Hi, Mike Jackson, Executive Director, Southern Nevada Transit Coalition.
Yeah.
I'd like to start out with our general update. Still continuing to hire personnel here in Laughlin. It is getting better. It was pretty scary there for a while. There still is a shortage of CDL drivers, but we're getting through it and we get applications every once in a while. We also, through this grant cycle, which ends in the end of September, we have used up all the 100% funding that we had for the COVID, which RTC was very happy because they didn't have to match it. But we did well, and we're going to finish this grant cycle pretty well. The ridership, you know, it's going well, but yet it still is not where I'd like it to be. It really depends on the economy and the visitors here in Laughlin. But understand it's not just the tourists that are riding the buses, it's actually the workers. The more people that visit, the more people that are working. And the workers are the ones that ride our buses. We do our best to provide as many free rides as we can. As you know, every holiday we do press releases for free rides, and we offer different special trips, things like that. So we just do our part. We're currently doing a pilot program with the Route 888. Back in the days before COVID, the 888 was a 19-hour route. When COVID hit, manpower was an issue. We temporarily reduced it down to about 15 hours. And so we brought it back, but I'm doing it as a pilot program because I don't want to have buses out there when they're really not needed. So we're kind of, 777 is out there, it's 24 hours. So I'm kind of seeing if it's really necessary. They're riding the buses, but it's a matter of them not riding the 777. So it's not really increasing the ridership. It's just them changing to a different bus because it may be more efficient for them on timing, which is something we still have to consider. So we're continuing that, but along with that pilot program, we included the change with Cougar Drive, and that eliminated that bus shelter that had people crossing Bruce Woodbury. The executive director before me did not want 40-foot buses going down Cougar, and she was very strict about it. Well, I took a 40-foot bus on Cougar myself, and I see absolutely no problem. So we made that change, and we made it as a pilot program, and I see that not changing. It's successful. It's been very helpful to the residents in that apartment complex. It takes away that safety concern on Bruce Woodbury, and it's working well. There's no doubt there's some fine tuning that we're going to end up doing. With this pilot program, we need to adjust all our time points throughout the route. But we're also working with Bullhead City in seeing how we may be able to finally get our routes to meet, rather than the people getting off of the boat dock, taking the water taxi across, walking through the riverside, and then getting on our bus. So we started meetings, we're talking about it, we're seeing how it possibly can happen. But I understand for like us, for example, if we were to do that, all right, it takes, in a good day, 12 minutes to go from our last bus shelter to the boat dock across the street and back. That 12 minutes is going to have to be taken away somewhere else. The hourly service is a very good schedule that keeps it simple. Everybody knows that if that's their bus stop, it's the same time every hour. If we get away from that, it's going to make it very complicated. People really aren't going to understand exactly when that bus is going to be at the bus stop. So we're doing our best to stay with that hourly service. So we're working some things out. We got some different ideas, and we're working with Bullhead City. They want it too. So we're going to get there. In the meantime, the Cougar Drive will stay. The point right now, and I got to make a decision about how many hours of service the 888 will be in. So we have 2 temporary stops that are on Cougar Drive. I'm in conversation with the RTC in regards to putting some permanent shelters there. We already removed the shelter on Bruce Woodbury to just take away that possibility of someone still crossing the road to a shelter that's closed and taped off and all that, because it was happening. Along with bus shelters, as some of you may know, we had a bus shelter get hit on Casino Drive and destroyed. The damaged section has been removed for safety, and I'm in discussion with RTC in regards to that, and I actually want to relocate that to the other side of the signal, towards a lot wider area, and the area that shelter was at, it was a pretty poor area. There was a lot of underground vaults there. When the bus stops in a certain space with the shelter, it's blocking the entrance to Terribles. So it was just a really bad idea. So I want it moved. So we're working on that. We also added a new stop for our Vegas Express, which that express route's been doing exceptionally well. But to make it easier, the bus now goes to the Riverside Casino West 15 minutes earlier, which is 6:45, and then up to Marketplace at 7 to pick up the people there, and then heads to Vegas. And it's working out well. Going to the ridership, as you see, the ridership's really floating along. I mean, 0.69% decrease on fixed route, so it's pretty much averaging the same. Paratransit has an increase of 5%. Vegas Express, I think there was probably some special runs, but it's fairly the same. And the Searchlight, with the help of Sue going out to let everyone know in Searchlight that we exist, the ridership has increased there. Our grant request with NDOT has been submitted, $4,675,258. I got a verbal confirmation that we're approved, but it's not in writing yet, so it sounds good. Projects, as I stated before, we had 5 new buses coming in. 2 of those buses for Laughlin, 3 for Mesquite. We received them. I went up to Northern Nevada with a few other employees of SNTC, and we drove them back. It was a nice test drive. The crew got after them right away. As I mentioned before, I had to buy them with all options taken off the buses, purchase the options separately, and we had to install them. We got it done. All but 1 are in service, and the remaining 1 is because we're getting ready to paint it, but we have to wait until it cools down. It's just too hot. But they're doing well, and like I said, these are low floors. They don't have steps going in, and they have ramps and not the big wheelchairs and all that. The events and community, I'm on the Bullhead TAC committee now, which is their planning committee with their MPO. That kind of keeps us tied into what's going on with them and allows me to help them with some of the things that they got going on there and allow it to intertwine with what we got going on over here. And then I'm on the TAC committee with the RTC. So I'm kind of the in-between, and it works well. Sue Bishop attended the Cops and Robbers on March 19th with Judge Gino, provided transportation, Laughlin schools. So we had a lot of good stuff going on. Free rides coming up on Labor Day. And then I want to let everyone know SNTC is already planning in the planning stage for this year's Megan Jackson Silver Rider Elves Toy Drive. That was a very, very successful last year. And it really isn't an SNTC toy drive, it's a community toy drive because everybody in the community has been helping on this. So we're already working with Carrie Larson, Jeff Gibson, Kyle, the Billberries on some upcoming events and fundraisers. So it's going to be another good one, and we're very pleased to do that. The biggest thing is, Sue's always been the main elf when it comes to this toy drive, and Sue's done a lot for Silver Rider. She helps in so many different areas. She's my little social butterfly for Laughlin, and at that same time she's my little, I had another nickname for her, but she's a go-getter. She gets it done. But for those of you who don't know, she's going to be leaving us. Yes. She's got family back east, where she's from, and she doesn't have a date set yet. Some people know, but I figure I'd just go ahead and put it out there and let everyone know. She's leaving in great terms. She doesn't want to leave. She loves what she's doing, but she has to leave, and she has to leave for her family. She came here for her mom and her dad. Her mom and her dad are no longer here. They love it back where they were. I can't hold her back. Believe me, I've tried. I had half her family already employed, and I was ready to employ the rest. But yeah, so I'm supportive in her move. I know it's the right move, and it's good. It's going to be good for her. In fact, I'll be going and visit her when she gets back. So, but we're very grateful for what she's done, and she will not be able to be replaced. It'll take quite a few people to replace her. And with the toy drive and everything that she's doing, it's going to be a challenge, but we're going to make it happen. I told her she can't leave till January, so we'll see how that goes. But any questions?
Madam Chair, I'm sure you probably already thought of this, but as you're still kind of in the trial and error stage with 888,
Yes.
would that be a possibility to take the route with 888 and to make the connection with the Bullhead side?
Well, we already took Portofino off of it to be able
Portofino
to do
off of the 888.
to do the Cougar.
Right.
So then I got to look at something else to take off of it.
Right.
Which the Vista Loop is an area that I'm kind of eyeballing because that gets serviced by 7772.
Right, yeah.
So Sue is having count sheets done at different bus stops, and we're seeing how the amount, but that amount of time that it goes across the river,
Right.
I'm gonna have to cut other areas.
And that's about 12 minutes, you said?
Yeah.
And out of curiosity.
When you're lucky.
Yeah, exactly,
Yes.
with traffic at Friday
And the
at
lights
4
are
p.m., not so good.
The lights are horrible on that side.
Yeah, they're forever lights, we call them. But out of curiosity, I would think if you make that connection, it would increase ridership, do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's
Because it would
another way to
allow-
do it too, and it's called microtransit, all right? That's a feeder service, and the service can feed each service. So there's other ways to do it.
I see.
And it takes money, it takes funding.
Are there grants that are specifically for feeders in rural markets?
I'm gonna utilize Bullhead's grant that they have for their planning.
Okay.
And let their consultants figure it out.
Okay.
And then we'll see what, doesn't mean I'm gonna do what they say.
Right.
But I definitely let them come up with some ideas and see how it aligns with some of the ideas that we have.
Yeah, because I think for those that, need to get over to Bullhead for a doctor's appointment or something like that, since we, have the majority of those services across the river,
Yes.
which are heavily utilized by our constituents, I would think.
Yes,
that
well,
would be
our
very helpful.
paratransit takes our paratransit passengers
Mm-hmm.
into Bullhead to their doctor's appointments. Not a problem.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's the general public that needs.
Yeah, or
needs the help.
grocery or
Yes.
pharmacy or.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
And then I had one other quick update. I know with Cougar, our Public Works Department was out there the last few weeks and added some asphalt to make the turning a little easier. So we were able to do that within the right of way and all that. So Mike and his team were able to make it work as it was, but we wanted to make it a little smoother for him. So.
And they're
the
still
transition.
working on it.
They are, yes. They're still finishing.
And I
up,
tell
so.
you, we all made this happen together.
Right.
Mark was the voice of all of you, and he came to us, and then Andrew, working with Andrew. I mean, we all worked together on this, and we made it happen as quick as we possibly could.
Right.
We don't want no more issues.
No, we do not.
So, all right. Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Receive a report from Kelly Lear, Southern Clark County Coordinator with UNR Extension regarding the status of programs and upcoming activities.
Kelly Lear, LEHR, University of Nevada, Reno Extension. We've been doing some physical labor today, so I feel a little underdressed with all the suits in the house. So Devin was watering the Laughlin Garden because the county shut off the water to the garden, which, I mean, you've all been outside. It's brutal. So she's next door trying to clean up because she's been out there for about an hour and a half, and then we were moving some mulch and searchlight. So we're physical creatures. So I just want to apologize because I'm sitting next to some very handsome young individuals that are here dressed up. UNR Extension just completed curriculum for our summer Lego robotics program. It was called Creatures of the Garden, of course, because Devin likes the garden. Topics. We had 12 students come to the library. They built caterpillars, bumblebees, fireflies, praying mantises. They learned about insect facts. They learned how to code their robots. They had a fun snack. We just do like an hour curriculum in the summer. We did a 6-week curriculum, and that just finished in July. And we're going to play with these We Do kits again in the fall with Bennett. Principal Moss is having us come back, and we'll do an after-school robotics with the We Do kits, and it will be with zoo animal theme, and that'll begin on Tuesdays in September. Devin, my instructor, concluded a junior master gardener curriculum with the homeschool kids, and they run out of the library. She has to add another class because there's little kids. We call them clover buds. They're like kindergarten through second grade. And so she's going to start a literature in the garden class for them. And I believe that will be on Thursdays at the library. She's coordinated that with Tanya, and that will also start in September. She has approximately 15 students with a shared interest, and she took them all to the Summerlin Children's Farmers Market, and they're expected to go again this year. They're just super excited. They won an award last, I think it was in the spring, and it was the most spirited gardeners, and they had antennas on and beads, and they're called the germinators. So they have these real cute aprons. They got a lot of attention. We're also proud to announce that thanks to donations from Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department and Justice of the Peace Judge Jeter, along with ribs and things from Searchlight, and some of the community members, 2 Boys and Girls Club students from here in Laughlin attended our summer program at Camp Alamo last month, and they had a blast. I asked them to come, but of course school started yesterday, so they'll write me up a little thank you. They just enjoyed themselves so much, and they were so appreciative because they're the kids that just can't afford to go anywhere. And so we got them there to the bus, and the bus took them to Alamo, and they just loved 3 days up there. It's not a whole lot cooler, but they did enjoy their time up there. We will be in the Bennett Science curriculum again this fall, teaching Steamin' Through the Seasons. And Devin had begun the Appalicious curriculum. So if you were at back to school, the back to school fair, she had the kids taste testing apples, and she'll start a chart, and they'll do some math concepts about who and how many people like green apples versus red apples. And Mark, I wasn't there because I was in Searchlight, but I was told to deliver that picture of the kids because they did indeed eat more apples than they did candy at our table. So there is promise in Laughlin. We will also offer Outdoor Nevada. It's an exploration outdoor adventure opportunity for the kids during in-service days. And so I left a flyer in the back. Our first event is a tour of Davis Dam on October 17th. It's a free event, open to the public, but space is limited. We're also going to be attending the Boys and Girls Club on Teacher in-service day starting on October 20th. They have a parent-teacher conference day. And Vanessa has asked us to come in and provide science lessons. We're going to do some curiosity with chemistry with the little guys too. So we'll do an hour and a half with the little guys, and I've really just kind of zeroed in on the teens because they don't get a lot of attention, but she's asked us to do both age groups. So we're going to start doing both age groups there at the Boys and Girls Club. We brought hand sewing to the teens this summer. And believe it or not, I had about 12 kids that were interested in it. So we're going to come back. I just purchased sewing machines, and so they want to learn how to sew. And so it's a nice, neat, long-lost art, and so we're going to bring it back during that one day in October and have them sew some tote bags and kind of learn how we used to do it. Not just go to the store and purchase things, but you can actually make it. Devin participated in the health fair. She had tables at open house, and we are also I have flyers in the back. We're going to do shooting sports clinics once a month, but we're going to go out of Searchlight. And Searchlight has an old shooting range right off of Cottonwood Cove. And some of the kids here that we have had in our curriculum are going to drive up for the Saturdays there. But space is limited, and so we have a QR code on our flyer. So they just register. It's free. We're going to do archery, we're going to do air pistols and air rifles. And so our shooting sports specialist will come and show the kids that's kind of another cool art that the kids can learn. And it's in the desert, so it's safe. I want to remind everybody that our Master Gardeners host an Ask a Master Gardener series. It's a workshop at the Laughlin Library. They will be there on August 27th at 10:30. And they can assist you with questions on trees, plants, bushes, what's best to grow in this awful climate. We are growing things. There are things that are growing. We have a beautiful garden in Searchlight as well. We have watermelon, we have cantaloupe, we have collard greens. Now we have a water issue. So we're gonna still try to keep those things growing. Pam, if the VFW or would like to sponsor a raised garden bed at the community garden or have us bring a raised one to the post, let me know, because I haven't heard back. I sent some correspondence, but we'd love to give our veterans the opportunity to grow and nurture and harvest if they're interested. And that's what UNR Extension does best. And so if we can bring that, we would love to. And
Just
then,
get with me and I'll make sure it happens.
yes, thank you. And then we intend on participating in the Garden Festival and National Night Out and the Rev Fest and Trunk or Treat and any part of community efforts that you guys see us fitting in. We just need to plug in, and you just need to tell us when to be there. Our monthly August Healthy Aging and Living newsletters in the back also. I dropped that off along with all the other flyers. So I apologize, there's a lot of them, but it's the beginning of our curriculum. So any questions for me?
Yes, are you going to still use the post for the archery?
We would love to get the Laughlin kids, but I hadn't gotten anything set yet. So I'll get with you on that too.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Receive a report from Carrie Larson with Laughlin Chamber of Commerce regarding current and upcoming business activities in Laughlin.
Good morning, Madam. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and Board. We have got a very, very, very busy fall on hand. We will kick things off the 16th at 9 a.m. or the 15th at 9 a.m. down in Needles. I want to remind everybody, while we are the Laughlin Chamber, we used to say we're a bridge-to-bridge chamber, but I'm going to start saying we're bridge to trestles because that makes more sense. Cush on 66 is down in Needles, and they are one of our new members. We'll also be doing a ribbon cutting on September 4th for the Jerry Thompson Agency. He is over in Bullhead City with his Farmers Insurance. Our next business breakfast will be a visit from Christy Zavala. You may know her as Showing Up with Christy on Facebook. She is with River Valley Home Health and Hospice, and she'll be presenting that morning. It's always the last Friday of the month. We are going to be starting a new push to drive business to our local restaurants that are our members. So we're going to have a lunch mob. This is like a flash mob, but where everybody goes to lunch at the same place on the same day. And it will always be the first Friday of the month. So it'll be a surprise of where we're going. We'll probably tell you about the Friday before, give you about a week's notice. But those are going to be fun. And it really came from having been here since '98. Remember, we all used to eat lunch at Jane's on the same day. The whole town used to be there. And so I wanted to bring back that sense of community while providing business to our members. As Mike mentioned, we are going to have the Roadhouse Roundup, and it is going to be a series this year. So the first one will be bringing our Searchlight neighbors down to Nats Landing on September 13th at 6 p.m. We encourage our Laughlin residents to come and enjoy. They are going to be playing the Laughlin Time Capsule by Laughlin's Easy Street Band. So that will be a short film followed up with music. And Laughlin's Easy Street Band is also a new member of the chamber. So Searchlight residents, it'll be $10 to drive down. If you live in Laughlin, just show up at Nats, and if you can bring toys for the toy drive, that would be fantastic. The next one will take off from the Laughlin Chamber on October 17th and take us to Searchlight to enjoy a band up there at Terrible's Roadhouse. And then the grand finale will be December 6th at Old Town Saloon. With Tyler Halsey playing. Also, both are members of the chamber. I love that. That's my favorite part. And that will be the big shebang where everybody come, bring as much money, donate money, bring toys. We're going to really stuff your stockings this year. We're going to do better this year, I promise. National Night Out with Metro is October 8th, and we're helping to coordinate that with all of the fundraising and getting sponsors for that. Val at the chamber, Val at laughlinchamber.com. She's handling all the coordinations of sponsors for that. The 28th Annual Community Achievement Awards is November 1st at the Aquarius in their ballroom upstairs. We are accepting nominations until the 18th, so it is coming up quick. So you got 6 days left, and I can tell you we have a great number of nominations, but we really, really need anything youth related. So the Connie Davis Youth Citizen of the Year Award, need nominations for that. We need nominations for the Young Wonder Award. So that would be anybody 11th grade and down that is an asset to our communities. And then Outstanding Youth Organization. 4-H would be a great thing to do for that, or any of our Laughlin Cougar sports teams, or Key Clubs, or Rotary. Please nominate for our kids. It is really an amazing experience to have them all up there screaming and yelling that they won, and it just makes your heart sing. Next up, another fundraiser for the Meg Jackson Toy Drive will be Tinsel and Tunes with the Killer Dueling Pianos. That will be November 10th, which is a Monday night. Again, I always say, so that you don't complain that you have to work the next day, because it's Veterans Day. You got the day off. Come out and have fun with us. Our membership is doing well. Claudia is just crushing it, and people are really seeing the value of the Laughlin Chamber. So I appreciate all of our new businesses that have joined. Our volunteers in partnership are going strong. Jackie is going out and finding some other new ways for the volunteers to help out through the community, but of course they always help with the concerts and all kinds of different things. So email Sue at the email address listed on my report, which is in the back, if you'd like more information on how to join. We do have notary services. Again, they are by appointment only. Our members are free. And just in case anyone didn't know, you don't have to be a business to join our chamber. You can do an individual membership if you just want to support our cause, support everything that we do for the community. We do take individual memberships, which means if you need something notarized and you're a member, it's free. Regarding projects, we have a communication issue in our community. It's very difficult to get word out. Yes, I'm looking at Mark. It's hard for everyone to know what's going on, because while the newspaper does their best job that they can, it doesn't reach everybody. Social media doesn't reach everybody. Not everybody is on the internet. And we don't have a central location within Laughlin to advertise what is going on. So I would like to submit a formal request to Commissioner Naft to put a digital LED sign somewhere near the corner of Erie and Needles Highway. That would be on the property for Spirit Mountain Activity Center. If we could be posting our nonprofit events flyers, anything that people in our community need. They need to know what's happening. And I think it would foster a much tighter sense of community in Laughlin that I feel has kind of floated away since I first moved here. So, submitted. Regarding the NDOT bridge and Highway 163, well, political science degrees tend to get a bad rap, but I can say 30 some odd years later, I finally got to use it, and I got a pen and an autograph and a picture for it. It was my greatest honor to submit that bill to Danielle Gallant, our assembly person, to run it through the community. And I am so grateful that Jackie entrusted me with this project. It took years and years and years to make it happen, but we finally have a name for our bridge. The Donald J. Laughlin Memorial Bridge and Highway 163. So I've been speaking with NDOT this morning, and we're going to be targeting October 3rd at 11 a.m. for the sign unveiling ceremony. And Riverside Resort has some ideas up their sleeves of things that we kind of want to make this an all-day celebration. So start at 11, maybe a First Friday's lunch at the Riverside afterwards for a lunch mob, and then another party afterwards. Because it took so long, and we just need a really long party. So I think that's going to be a great time. And other than that, if you want to adopt the labyrinths for a month, call Jackie. Any questions?
Madam Chair. Just out of curiosity, if I can tag on to what you had requested as far as the community board. I believe going back like 10 years, I don't know if Jackie Wallen's in the audience today. I can't
don't see her.
But we had requested that at Spirit Mountain and also at the chamber.
Okay.
Because that's on the strip. So, you know, that would kind of, the people that, from the Bullhead side that come over that might not be aware, we thought they would see that more as well. So we looked at one at the chamber and one at Spirit Mountain.
Well, it'd be nice to have a sign at the chamber, but as far as fostering a sense of community in Laughlin, I would push for the gigantic expenditure at the community center first, at Spirit Mountain Activity Center, because they are very, very expensive.
Yeah, and I think we even had it
Yeah,
in our
we have
budget
that on a
as
list
well
of our
for
budget
many years,
capital
5, 10
requests.
years. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
Thank you. Yes.
you're welcome.
Okay, Jackie Wallen is not here, but her report is at the back of the room and available. At this time, we're going to take a 10-minute recess because the meeting is running long. And then we will come back and continue with the agenda. For all of you, if you will just, when you come back. Item 13 is review the previous fiscal year budget requests and take public input regarding requests for the next fiscal year budget. That will be presented to be voted upon at the next meeting. Is that correct? Tammy, thank you. So we will move along on that one. Planning and zoning. First up is UC 250497, Renewal A1 LLC, use permits for the following: public utility structures, overhead transmission lines, and electric substation, and all ancillary equipment, and a communication tower, and all associated equipment. Waivers of development standards for the following: increased structure height. 2, eliminate street landscaping. 3, eliminate buffering and screening. And 4, waive full off-site improvements. Design reviews for the following: 1, public utility structures, overhead transmission lines, and electric substation, and all ancillary equipment. 2, a communication tower and all associated equipment. And 3, final grading plans for a hillside development on a 211.30 acre portion of the 6,854.96 acre site in an RS80 residential single-family 80 zone, an IH industrial heavy zone, and PF public facility zone, generally located east and west of Needles Highway and south of State Route 163 within Laughlin, for possible action to the BCC on 8/20/2025. UC 250499, County of Clark Administrative, use permits for the following: 1, large-scale electric generation, solar. 2, public utility structures, electric substation, BESS facility, utility poles, and overhead transmission lines, and all ancillary structures. And 3, a communication tower. Waivers of development standards for the following: 1, increase structure height. 2, eliminate street landscaping. 3, eliminate buffering and screening. And 4, modify residential adjacency standards. Design reviews for the following: 1, a large-scale solar electric generation facility. 2, public utility structures and all ancillary equipment. 3, a communication tower, and 4, final grading plans for a hillside development on a 2,866.51 acre portion of the 4,870.79 acre site in an RS 80 residential single-family 80 zone and an IP industrial park zone, generally located northeast of Needles Highway and north and south of Laughlin Boulevard within Laughlin, to the BCC on 8/20/2025. And 3, UC 250501, renew a 1 LLC use permits for the following: public utility structures, overhead transmission lines, and electric substation, and all ancillary equipment. And 2, a communication tower and all associated equipment. Waivers of development standards for the following: 1, increase structure height. 2, eliminate street landscaping. 3, eliminate buffering and screening. And 4, waive full off-site improvements. Design reviews for the following: 1, public utility structures, overhead transmission lines, and electric substation, and all ancillary equipment. 2, a communication tower and all associated equipment. And 3, final grading plans for a hillside development on a 211.30 acre portion of the 6,854.96 acre site in an RS 80 residential single-family 80 zone, an industrial zone, I-8 zone, and a PIA public facility zone, generally located east and west of Needles Highway between the Nevada state line and Hyco Springs Lane within Laughlin, to the BCC on 8/20/2025. And 4, UC 25-0502, County of Clark Administrative, use permits for the following: 1, large-scale electric generation, solar, and 2, public utility structures, BESS facility and utility poles, and all ancillary structures. Waivers of development standards for the following: 1, increase structure height. 2, eliminate street landscaping. 3, eliminate buffering and screening. And 3, allow high-activity areas, drive aisles, adjacent to a less intense residential district. Design reviews for the following: 1, a large-scale solar electric generation facility. 2, public utility structures and all ancillary equipment. 3, final grading plans for a hillside development on 1,352.46 acre portion of a 2,789.36 acre site in an RS 80 residential single-family 80 zone and an IP industrial zone, generally located northeast of Needles Highway and north of Laughlin Boulevard, alignment within Laughlin, for possible action to the BCC on 8/20/2025. Northwest, I'm sorry, thank you.
And Madam Chair, just for the record and possibly for the audience, if they're not aware, if you look at these UC numbers, they're very close, 250, 497, 499, 501, and 502. Just so that if the audience is not aware of the history of these projects, I believe Fred and I sat on this board 2018. It's hard because we've been here a while. So a lot of what we're going to be going back over today is great information for the public, but a lot of this, what we're coming to is kind of a housekeeping issue from the standpoint, a lot of this was approved before the pandemic. And as we know, the pandemic caused a great deal of delay. When we do approvals like this, a great deal of it is given a timeline, so many years, 5 years, something like that. And that timeline with the pandemic and supply chain issues has expired. And so the applicants, I believe, are here before us again today to kind of advise the public of what the project was and to get the continuance for the project to actually take place.
And you're
So
correct.
just that
I was on the
information.
board as well.
Yeah, okay, because we've been here a long time. Okay.
What's the question?
You will need to come up.
Does that mean all that's being addressed is the timeline? Are you going to explain what all these terms in relation to the heights and the...
The applicant will give a
The
presentation.
applicant will do that, but next time, if you wouldn't mind walking up to the podium. Thank you. So I'm sure the applicant would like to speak.
Linda Buellin.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is Linda Bullen. The last name is Bullen, and I'm here today representing the applicant Avantis. Yes, that you give a very thorough overview, obviously, of what we're here for today, and we do have several members of the company that are here. We'd like to start by giving a short presentation, the overview. I think that will answer a lot of these questions, and then we're obviously available to answer questions after that. And so we're going to kick it off with Jake Dom, who's the Vice President of Development for the company. Thank you.
Thank you. If you would please spell your last name for the record.
I will. I was
Thank you.
told just
Put it on that table, then the AV room can shoot down and they'll show it on the screen for you.
be patient with me.
So,
Okay. We'll adjust it as needed. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for having us.
There we go.
He'll dial in.
Technical dude.
Just needed you guys to see our headshots. Very excited to be here. Thank you for having us. I am Jake Dom, D-A-H-M, Vice President of Development at Avantis. I am here representing the Areta Solar Center. We do have several members of our team here. As Linda mentioned, Elliot Casper is going to be joining me up here. He's a senior manager of permitting. As Linda and others have said, the project was unanimously recommended for approval here at LTAB in January of 2022. The reason we are back here is because those prior approvals have expired, and we are now seeking recommendation of approval for 4 new SUP, which are special use permits, applications, and waivers of development standards. The reason that there are 4 this time, where there were 2 last time, is because we have phased the power plant. There's an Areta 1 and 2A. This helps lessen the burden of financing down the road because it's easier to finance smaller projects, et cetera. So there are 2 SUPs for each phase, 1 for the power plant and then 1 for the Gentai and associated infrastructure. With this project, we've also included a switching station, and we are relocating 4 of the 45 poles on the Gentai of the BLM. So those are the changes. In total, we are estimating over $350 million in tax and lease payments over the life of the project. For those who don't remember, the project is sited on Clark County land. For all of those who did not see it, I'll fix that. There also is a handout in the back that might be a little more helpful. It's like a 1-pager. It's on the table. Okay. Perfect. So we're looking at roughly $1 million plus in annual lease payments that will go to the Fort Mojave Development Fund. We're also looking at estimated over $100 million for the Clark County School District. Peak construction jobs of 600 during the 12 to 24 months. And at the end of the project life, the project is decommissioned, which means components are hauled away, disposed, recycled, and the land is returned to the previous use. I think at this point, we're going to walk through the waivers.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Elliot Casper, C-A-S-P-E-R.
and I've been supporting the project on the permitting side, so I'm going to walk through the specific waivers of development standards and the justification for those. So as Jake mentioned, we have two different, or there's the power plant SUPs, so I'll speak to those ones first, and then I'll move on to the Gentai. For the power plant specifically, so our first waiver of development standard is increasing the height of public utility structures to 199 feet, where 35 feet is the maximum permitted by code. So the Gentai is the transmission line that connects the solar facility to the existing SCE Mojave substation just west of Laughlin. Standard engineering and safety practices, transmission structures are 120 to 150 feet on average. The structures will need to be closer to 190 feet when we connect to the SCE Mojave substation. And that's just to follow, standard safety and connect to the existing infrastructure. Part of the substations will also have equipment that's greater than 35 feet as well, so that includes transformers and other electrical equipment that you're probably used to seeing driving by substations. The next two waivers of development standards are eliminating street landscaping along unnamed public streets and also eliminating buffering and screening requirements. So as you know, we're in a very rural part of the state, and the existing landscape is dominated by desert scrub shrub habitat that's very low lying. We don't feel that the need for landscaping requirements and trees along the highway is appropriate given the rural nature of the area. In addition, this would require a lot of water resources to keep that vegetation and landscaping intact for the life of the project. So those were two of the waiver requests as well. The last one here is to allow high activity drive areas, which are the drive aisles, or they're basically the access roads within the solar facility. Allow them to be adjacent to less intense residential districts where not permitted. So these roads are for operations and maintenance within the facility. It's basically so we can drive around and wash off panels as needed, do routine repairs, things like that. So they won't be high use areas. They're standard roads. They're also appropriately set back from the property boundary and won't be used frequently. And there's also no, adjacent residential areas near the PV areas. So those are the specific waivers of development standards on the solar plant SUPs. If you guys have any questions, we're happy to discuss those, or I can jump on to the Gentai pieces as well. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, just for clarification, maybe not so much for me, but for the audience that we have here with us today, the elimination of street landscaping, predominantly the water issue, and then these are not fronting before our residential areas. This is a vast, more desert area that isn't the mainstream, the travel areas. So it's not going to be an unsightly thing. Would that be relatively over all of this acreage site the case?
Yeah, that's correct. So if we look at the map here, I'll try to talk and point, but
screw into that, yeah.
Where my pen is on the eastern edge is where this landscaping would be required.
Mm-hmm.
So that's along the Needles Highway, so not adjacent to any of those residential areas.
Residential areas, commercial land.
And that's specific for the solar SUPs as well.
And then just the other one is where it has waive full off-site improvements.
Mm-hmm.
What typically is the waiver for? And again, not so much for me, but possibly for the audience if they're not aware of what that entails.
Yeah, absolutely. So that request is actually specific to the Gentai SUPs. So that one isn't on the solar SUP request, it's on the Gentai. But the waiver of off-sites was for, it generally includes like streets, curbs, gutters, sidewalks, as well as any off-site drainage infrastructure. So on this private parcel along the Gentai, where we have requested this waiver, we've gone through thorough engineering design with like berms and canals to route any alluvial flood flows around our infrastructure on the site and exit in Clark County floodways already created, so there would be no change in flow between previous and off-site conditions. And so that's our justification for waiving that requirement. And related to that as well is that, Public Works would have a series of conditions of approval that we'd have to adhere to. Some of those are right-of-way dedication along Cougar Drive and constructing a sidewalk as well in that area.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, is the main access road going to be there off of Bruce Woodbury?
So we'll have several access points. I'm sorry our PowerPoint didn't work.
I would say there's a map onto your left over there. That might be easier to point to, I think, to see.
Yeah, so the main access road for the solar facility will come off Needles Highway along this gas line here, going to the west. Then we'll have a series of access roads going north-south through the site. The Gentai will originate in the northwest corner of this station and basically go northeast for about 8 miles, kind of doing a roundabout way to connect to the SE substation here. We will have, well, for the most part, the Gentai will follow the existing SCE transmission line that's out there. There's actually several of them out there. So whenever possible, we're using existing access roads. But when we have to, we'll have spur roads or additional, new additional 15, 20-foot wide roads where needed.
That aren't accessible unless you're inside the facility, so it's not like they're going to be accessible from the outer roads.
Correct, and where the transmission line is on BLM lands, technically those would be accessible, but that's BLM public use areas or managed for multiple uses.
And just for the public, so the main access road to the solar facility is going to be where us locals, like if we're headed out to the new bridge, that gas line that goes across from Arizona to Nevada would be in that area?
Yes,
for
that's
landmark
correct.
and
I'm going to
ease?
look back at the engineer and yes, she's giving me the thumbs up. So
okay.
And that we understand that is a important access to get out to the mountains for several folks in the community. That's the feedback we had heard. So that is excluded from the project. That still will be accessible to the public. So yeah, just FYI.
Good.
Great. Well, I think we're happy to talk through any questions or.
So you didn't discuss the other, so you discussed where the main plant is going to be, but then there's that Cougar Drive area right
That's
there,
right,
which
yeah.
I think is my question as to why the landscaping would be waived there when it is in a residential area, and it could improve. If you're driving down, I guess it's Bruce Woodbury there, and you pass the VFW and you get to the water plant right there. There's 2 trees and a couple bushes. I mean, it looks nice, as opposed to just desert along that.
No, yeah, we hear that. I think that our rationale is that the trees don't necessarily go along with the current landscape, but I know we're continuing to work with staff on what that might look like, and have meetings with Mark and Commissioner Naft coming up as well to discuss that in more detail.
And water as well.
And
because
yes,
the
yeah,
project is predominantly water haul, am I not mistaken? So it
Correct.
doesn't tap into our, deficit or tap into our current water system. Most all of it during construction and maintenance. And the term of the project is 35 years. Am I correct? Yeah,
Correct.
for our public, and it is a water haul site. Okay.
Yeah, and even in the staff report, they referred to this. They said that would be like structures previously approved in the area. They're set back at least 100 feet from the property line and should not increase any visual burdens.
Now, my other question is you mentioned that there is a time limit to this project and that eventually it's going to, why is there a time? I mean, it's solar. What gives it a time limit? Just the actual structure itself?
Sure, yeah. So at the time, 35 years from now, when I'm CEO of this company, still working here, it's a joke, you have the option to repower the plant if it makes financial sense, or we can just decommission it, which means we take down all components of the project, return the land to its prior use for another generation to do with as they see fit.
And then my last question is you mentioned that every year there's going to be a lease amount of cash. Just on a rough estimate, how much are we talking per year?
Yeah, on the lower end of the estimate, the current lease is roughly $1 million with a 3% escalator. And that does go directly to the Fort Mojave Development Fund.
Didn't know the amount.
Yeah, I did know that.
I didn't know the amount, yeah. And that lease has already been in effect since
That lease is effective, correct?
Yeah, it's been running now since
Yes,
2022, or?
we've been making payments.
Yeah, oh yeah,
already.
no, we see it in our
If everything goes forward, when would the completion of this project be?
Yeah, I think that might have been a really important fact I left out. So construction's going to start mid-next year, and we're looking for maybe 18 to 24 months, so that'll be late 2028.
And again, this is power that's coming to us too?
So this is power that'll go on the grid. We don't have a power purchase agreement yet with any utility, but theoretically, any utility we could bid with, et cetera. So that's a whole nother process. So
goes to the switch.
Yep.
Yep.
Could you explain again where this is going to be?
yes. So this is the Clark County land.
Is there any way we can get a camera on that?
Can we turn the applicant on the wall? Can you turn it the camera?
I can actually.
We could maybe
is it
hold
better
this
that I
one
do
up.
that? What do you think?
Oh, wait.
If we go to
Just trying to figure out
yeah,
where this
and then
is
turn that
and how
one.
much of this is going to be visual to us every day as we drive by this.
Sure.
So I think if you can bring up the map, yeah, and then zoom in.
This is the Clark County land. This is where the main solar power plant will be located. And then there is a Gentie line running through the terrain up here on the BLM land, crossing over Needles Highway and coming in just above Vista Creek. And then over, it curves down and then over into the Mojave substation. There will also be a switching station located on this private property.
So it's between the school and the...
The transmission line will be, correct.
It's down that wash.
And there's already the Gentry line there.
Yeah.
So this would be in addition to?
Yeah, and that path generally follows the same path that was
Right.
2022, minus the 4 poles that I think are being relocated over here a bit because we were not allowed to use SCE land.
So would it be correct to say that your transmission lines, which we're raising the height for, will follow along with the Gentry line that already exists?
Outside of
Predominantly. With a few exceptions, obviously, you have to access that Gentry line, but it would follow along with those that already exist. So you're not adding in, a bunch of lines that weren't there prior. Do we have an engineer coming?
We prepared another document if we want to zoom back to the table. Yeah, that's helpful. This is bigger. Maybe this will fit the widescreen.
6, all the way to 21.
Mhm.
This is the power station. This is,
If we could zoom back down on the table.
That's where the poles are going to be.
I know, but this is the area of the school.
The what?
What area is this?
See Phil.
It's on the...
There we go.
Needles Highway.
Is it working?
That's, the road that goes up the hill? On it, mile 1.4.
So this is a photo of the Gentie, which is the transmission line.
The new bridge is about right here.
So this is the new bridge.
That's already in existence.
No.
No.
We would be constructing this.
That's the one that we access.
So this is before
We
town.
build access to.
Getting town.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, if you look up the road,
Yeah. And then you go up, it goes around the town?
She's asking questions.
North.
Yeah,
We can't do that.
you'll have to wait. There will be an opportunity, but you'll have to wait. You have to wait, I'm sorry.
State your name and address.
I'm Yoko Allen. Last name is spelled Allen, and I have no idea except the general description of east and west of Needles Highway and south of Route 163 within Laughlin. So how far it's going to come near my house, which is right by Hico Springs.
At what point will we see it?
School, the downtown.
Here. Very close to.
Now, the school is there. It's away from,
She has the only house there. I don't think there's any other homes there.
What do we have right there? Trying to
Testing.
landmark what you're talking about.
That's, I mean, yeah.
It's about right here.
Okay, the dump.
I bought a house, they're trying to sell me a loan.
So it's gonna come out before the dump.
Yeah.
So between the high school and the dump, I see it right here.
Yeah. It's the other power line that runs right up there. Very close to it.
Okay.
If you go to the apartments behind the post,
Yeah.
between there and the school, that's where it's gonna come down that wash.
Okay. I think they need to have it explained that way so people know landmarks. It's just talking this way. Make no sense.
So it's down here. This is that.
yes, yes. Yes, 'cause-
I'm sorry to be rude, but I guess a lot of people might have specific questions that I'm sure these gentlemen would be happy to answer afterwards. If we can let them finish their presentation, that would be really great.
so that
You're right.
everyone can
What
hear
is
what
your
the
question?
questions are.
Oh, I thought she was part of the group.
If, I guess if there are no further questions on. the
Are there any
waivers
other
at this
questions
time,
from the board?
No, I just wanted to do landmarks. So a lot of people are going to be like northeast, northwest, how far north, how far, well, landmarks. So from what we understand, it's going to be before the bridge. You're going to go up into the mountains, and then you're going to come out just past, or just before the dump area, where everyone knows where the dump is. And then it's going to go down between the school and the apartments on Bruce Woodbury. So it's going to go down that area. As far as, that's what we're looking for, landmarks. Everyone here knows where the dump is. They know where the bridge is. They know where the apartments are. Northwest, east, no, forget it.
So,
Right.
is this on? Yes, they explained this to me, so I was going to assist with Laughlin landmarks. You are correct. It is coming in. Let's start over by the apartments. So that is where the switch station is going to be. And then it's going to go across Needles Highway behind where the dam is. And then out into the mountains and through this land here until it hits the Southland. Does that make sense to everybody?
Away from the residential areas.
No, you know where the power poles run through the mountains? You can kind of see them far back up in there. So they're going to kind of follow that with where the poles they're putting in.
Follow.
Follow.
Do you want to give her one of the handouts and see if she wants to look at that? Okay. Well, I was just
Okay,
showing you.
we're gonna
where
have-
It's on there, the map, the
At the
Gentile.
holder.
Ladies and gentlemen, we do need, this is a recorded meeting and it's a public forum. So if you have questions of the applicant, we do need you to come to the podium, state your name, address, spell your last name for the record, because we're taking minutes of all of this so that we can provide a public record. And then ask the question of the applicant, then the applicant will respond. So that way everyone is aware of the question and some of the questions you may have may get answered for you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, there's no more questions, I think, from the board.
Okay.
So-
Well, I'll just say thank you again for meeting with us. Thank you, everyone out here, for your attendance, and look forward to answering your questions. We also look forward to future updates to the LTAB to keep everyone apprised of the construction period. And also keeping a positive relationship with Laughlin is very important to us. We are going to be the long-term owner-operator of this project, so it is very important to us to make sure that our relationship with the community is in a positive standing. So again, in closing today, we are asking for approval of the 4 SUPs and waivers, and thank you very much.
I have just one more question, sorry. How many permanent jobs will this provide for Laughlin?
So we're estimating anywhere from 4 to 8, 10-ish. There are on-site technicians that have to come every day. There are people that help with various like electrical things. And then it creates other jobs with, people needing to come and perhaps change a portage on or deliver materials, et cetera, throughout the project life with any of the O&M activities that will have to occur.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So now we can have people come up and ask questions, but you have to come to the podium. Please, state your name, spell your last name and your address,
And it'll be
please.
3 minutes is what we're limiting.
Yes, 3 minutes.
Lene Seed, Leneeseed. And I have a question. I didn't think he covered all 4 proposals. I only heard the ones associated with the panel, the solar plant. Where are the homes going to be? There's supposed to be 80 homes. Did I misunderstand this whole
No,
thing?
there's no 80 homes. That is, each area has a zone. And whether that be a residential zone, a hazardous material zone, whatever it might be. So that is why it's in that zone. There are not going to be 80 homes built there.
Well, it said residential, so.
Yes, that is a particular part of that zoning there.
And it's going to be within what has already been described.
That's correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Robert P. Bilbray, Bilbray Industries, 1631 Cal Edison Drive, Bilbray. It's been a long time coming, from 8 minute to expectations, and I think I probably signed at least 40 or 50 property owner support notices that went out. I'm here to testify in support of the application. I think economically it'll assist the community in numerous ways. The impacts of the transmission lines, are challenging sometimes, especially behind by the school and off of Cougar Drive. But no one's going to say that this applicant and the predecessor applicant haven't just busted their tails to make this happen. They have. They have incredible amounts of money committed, not only just the lease payments to the Fort Mojave development area, but I can tell you that, we've always looked for, and what we need is something like this if we're ever going to get a data center and high-paying jobs in this community. This is very good, both regionally and nationally, for the community's reputation when we need it. And so, I do have one caveat that I'll refer to Public Works, and that's the term of the waiver of the offsites. I understand what they're into financially, but once Southland's auctioned, and it will be auctioned, and that development occurs, those waivers are going to look very ugly, because the whole South Laughlin's going to look a lot different. So I would, and I pretty much am deferring to Public Works. They know what they need and where they need it. But I don't like to see a permanent waiver of offsites and landscaping on streets and curbs and I just don't. It's, make them come back for that. That would be and 5 years is, I think, acceptable. That I don't, I've watched this so long. I was a young boy when it started, I think. So I am not exactly sure all ramifications. We've gone through, the 8-minute energy, and I've had the pleasure of meeting the Advantage people and trying to support them as much as I could. But, the permanent off-site waivers on some of the non-transmission issues, what's overhead, I don't think we're talking about. We don't want to create another Woodbury Mongolian mess of Woodbury Parkway again with who's to pay for it. The other thing is, obviously we would have liked them to come and tell us who they're selling the power to. They don't have a power purchase agreement. We have to assume it's either going to be Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, which is the major stockholder in the power plant, and that's a whole nother issue, Southern California Edison, or NV Energy. So it would be, we can't, on this agenda item, ask that they keep us advised as to the negotiations for their power purchase agreement. But, that donut hole in the middle of this town is there. It's still there. It's been promised
And your time is up, I'm sorry.
for a long time, and we're all sick and tired of driving around it. And so, if you have any questions, I'm not sure I can answer them all, other than I should have brought some of my props. But sometimes some people in here have seen too many of my props. So, other than that, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer. But that's kind of my testimony today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Madam Chair, can I ask for a point of information from staff? And this is just, it's been a while, we haven't seen a whole lot of these type of projects come before us. He does have a point about the, 5,000 acres, the auctioning of the land from real property management. When we had done this project, that, wasn't exactly on the agenda. So I'm curious as far as, and we can ask this of the applicant, but within the purview of what we do at the county level with the Board of County Commissioners, is there a way to have, instead of a 35-year waiver of development standards on off-sites, is there a way to bring that in for a time review? In a 5-year, I don't know if we can split that, and that's why this is a point of information.
I don't know for sure if you can do the time review. I agree with what Mr. Bilbray said of there is development potentially there, and then you're left with stuff not being done. I would say in your recommendations, you can state that, and we can definitely share it with the planning department and commissioner in Clark County. Unfortunately, I don't have the answer, but I think we could definitely use that as part of your recommendation towards
And
it.
defer that to Public Works.
Yeah, and I think, truthfully, I don't know the answer. I don't know if it's either all or
and
nothing.
I've never done anything in 20-some-odd years. I've
Yeah,
never done anything
this is
exactly like that. But I can see the point, because what we have now was not what we had before.
True. So I'd say definitely if there's something that would like to be included, let's definitely include it in our recommendation when we make it for the decision.
Okay, great. Thank you.
When you make the recommendation.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, I'm Yoko Allen. Last name is Allen. 1565 Sparkling Sands Drive in Laughlin, Nevada, 89029. And my question is that for number 1, it says generally located east and west of Needles Highway and south of State Route 163 within Laughlin. So that would cover from 163 all the way down east and west of Needles Highway to the state line. So, that would cover my house too, I think. Also, for number 3, it says, east and west of Needles Highway between the Nevada state line and Hico Springs Lane within Laughlin, that would cover my house too, because I live right by Hico Springs, so I like to know exactly where this project is going to be.
She's north of school.
Yeah.
Nevada state line.
I live right north of the high school, by,
So the line's going to be south of where you are.
but it says
It's going to be
here,
between the school and the apartment complex.
Yoko, think more of the Nevada state line with California as opposed to Arizona. What I think you have in your mind is Arizona, meaning moving across over your house towards the river, perhaps. But I think the issue is the Nevada state line from California, remembering that those 5,000 acres that we have known as the Southland, transverse all the way towards the California state line.
Yes, it does.
And that's I think the issue is it Arizona state or is it California? And I think if you shift your mind, because they wouldn't be able to cover your house with, the solar project. That couldn't happen.
It's on the other side of the school.
Yeah, it's on the north.
You're on this side of the school, the power plant's gonna be on that side,
You
going,
mean south of the high school they're talking about?
It's going to be west and south, right? Am I
Yeah.
correct?
West
Yes.
and south.
West
Okay.
and south.
So what about then, okay, northwest of Needles Highway.
It won't be near your home at all.
Okay, fine.
No,
Not going to be there.
no.
East and west of Needles Highway between the Nevada state line and Hico Springs. Because Hico Springs is on the north side, and Nevada state line comes like this. And then, I don't know what the east side is.
So from your house, if you take a look at the acronym, so from where I know well where your house is. So north would be like you were driving to Vegas.
Yes.
East would be where the sun rises and where Bullhead City is. South would be where Needles is, and west would be where the ocean is.
No. I don't know.
Time's gonna be almost up. Times. I'm sorry, there's the
Maybe if you
time.
show her that map of the transmission line itself and where it's located, she can see where her house is in
I see.
regards to it.
Okay, okay.
okay, do we have any others?
Do we have any
Okay.
others who would like to
Okay.
step up and
Okay, I
speak
really
to
needed
this
a map,
issue?
but I think she explained to me where
Okay.
it was. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Ermila Adame, and my last name spelled A-D-A, Amy. I have a hard time picturing things, so I want to know that green line on that map that just showed the lady, and I understand that line, there is a line, but I want to see how those poles are going to look like. And if it's that, I have property somewhere there, and I want to know, is that going to just lower the price of my property there? As in, I want to see a picture, as anybody has a picture of how those poles are going to look, that line up crossing that road, Needles Highway. Am I making myself understand?
Go ahead.
Yeah, you're making yourself understood. And again, I prefaced this whole presentation with the fact that I thought it was 2018 that it came to us, because I've been here a while. But it was in 2022. And at that time, the presentation may have, and I'm going off my memory, showed what the poles and stuff looked like. We have a physical description, but, it may have showed us at that time frame. And then we approved this project. So this project has already been approved, but they're here before us again today, kind of as a housekeeping, because with the pandemic and project delays, it didn't meet the timelines that it was originally set for. So they're back before us today, and just getting things reapproved for what was approved originally.
Yes, I think there's an issue with those cards that were sent out.
An issue with, I'm sorry.
Cards, understanding the cards with the
Right.
information, because here, I'm thinking they're putting solar panels by the high school. So there is just very hard to understand.
I agree, and I've been trying as we go through this meeting to kind of explain to people where things are at and stuff like that, like Kathleen did, explaining, okay, this is where, 163 is, this is where the high school is, because it's even hard for us, and some of us have been doing it a while, so I understand, and we're trying to make it as simple as we can and give you that, but I know it's still difficult, so I do apologize.
Okay, well, eventually, let's say if there are apartments want to be built or homes in that area, in this area, the high school area, on this side of Needles Highway and the other side. If, let's say, homes are gonna be built there, which, hope, that's a hope.
It would have to be
That's a
after
hope.
35 years at the end of the project.
After
Correct.
35 years?
Correct.
At the end of the project?
I believe so, because these,
That's private land right there.
Yeah.
But homes can certainly be built elsewhere in
Yeah.
the area.
No, but I'm not talking about your property.
Sure.
I'm talking about property off,
adjacent.
Off that line. Let's say I have a property right next to what they wanna build. Can I build a home there?
yes, if it's zoned that way.
If it's zoned,
Back 100 feet.
Yep.
Property line.
Residential?
Yeah. So we'll have the proper setbacks, et cetera, from any sort of residential, that would be coming.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dictated by code,
Okay.
building code.
Still, I wish I could see those lines.
I think in regards to aren't you talking about like with the power lines, you're talking about the big metal ones, right? So yeah, I mean, it's the same,
There already.
yeah, it's the same power structure that's already there. The big, huge metal triangular power structures, those are the ones that are gonna be taking that line.
Put it in there. Oh, okay.
So it's no different than what we have already.
Okay,
just a little taller, that's all.
okay. Well, thank you.
And
Thank you for your question.
Is there, I see we have a few more.
Hello, can you hear me? I'm Scott Dyer, just moved here, I'm retired up here now, I've been here almost a year. Kind of a off-the-wall question, but has anybody?
You said Dyer?
Dyer,
How's
D-Y-E-R.
that spelled?
D-Y-E-R.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Has anybody, I haven't heard anything, all I heard is that these wires and this and that. What about the dust that this is gonna create while they're building? I have to have my car washed here now, as it is. It may me sound off the wall, but where I used to live at, the PG&E power plant was there, and they used to wash your boats, because they had blow-offs, they had all different problems. Now we had a big fire up there in California because of Tesla, his batteries. So they had to wash all these guys' properties and all this stuff. So what are we gonna do about when there's a problem? Are we gonna be taken care of, or just?
Well, the dust that accumulates
Or
on
even
the
a problem at the
panels are
plant.
going
It
to
doesn't
be
matter.
washed off with water. I mean, that's how they clean them. They would put the water.
Even the plant itself, if something happens, no one's ever talked about safety, no one's talked about the birds or the wildlife or anything over there to say, we're gonna dig a bunch of roads there and we're gonna be back and forth so we get in and out, and that's that.
Has an environmental impact report
Yeah,
been
anything like
done
that.
on this?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's any of this stuff here, but just asking a question.
That was done when we
Yes, I understand it was
approved
done a long time
before.
ago before COVID and all that, but just kind of update.
Well, 2022.
Yeah.
I was wrong in my 2018.
Well, whenever it was, that's fine, it's not important, but, some of this stuff, people don't think it's great, but like, they're talking about landscaping. I live in an HOA community, we have no water neither, but my plant's still gotta be green, they're still gonna give me a fine, they're still gonna do whatever. So since these guys are industrial, they don't have to follow by no rules, because it doesn't gonna look pretty, we'll just make it look like whatever in the middle of the desert. So some of that doesn't make any sense, how some people have to have some things and other people don't have to because of who they are. So they're no better than me having to put water, even though we don't have no water, same difference. But yet someone says I have to do it. They're saying we don't have no water, we're industrial, so we don't have to do nothing. So they should be no different to a certain point. I said, we're not gonna put a big old oak tree, a big old cypress tree out there, it don't make no sense, it won't really match the landscaping, but some of it, they still have to be able to have like we have. That's some stuff that nobody's really talked about, since this was going on before, I wasn't here at the time. But just some minor stuff like that, I'd like to have my car cleaned, not by them, but I try to keep it clean, I try to keep it up. They cost $100,000 now, a car does.
Oh, I know.
Ridiculous on the price of some of the stuff, but, so paying $100,000 for a car, and 10 years later, it's all messed up because of the dirt from these guys getting started a year from now. You know, the way I got my life plan, I'm not due for another 20 years for a car, hopefully, you know, but it can be within a year now, or 2 years now, when these guys get started with all the dirt.
I think you got to worry more about the off-roaders.
Yeah, there is some, I do some of that too, and don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm against it or either way. Same thing with boating, I'm not against none of that neither. But I'm saying they're gonna create more than what these guys are creating because they're on a different time frame of getting stuff done.
I
sorry,
do know
but the
they're
time
with,
is up.
yeah, and they're with Clark County. So within Clark County, we do have a dust abatement program. There's water trucks. They'll have a water lift up there to spray the roadways and things like that to keep the dust down. So Clark County, I don't know, you said, where was it in California you were from?
Monterey Bay.
Monterey Bay,
So we got
okay.
a
Very
sanctuary out
familiar
there.
with
It's a whole
Monterey Bay and
different
Presidio
sanctuary,
and stuff like that from a military standpoint. But they will have, you know, it's a water haul location, so they'll have several water tankers that are up in the air, you know, that look like the back of a semi. They'll fill, and their roads, they have to keep dust abatement during construction. And air quality management in Clark County is pretty tough. They really are. I mean, I have restaurants in the casinos, and I have to get signed off from them, and I don't even make dust outdoors. I make it in the casinos, but it's still a visit I have to go to. And I know that they'll even post like a billboard that says, "How's my dust?" And it gives you a 800 number to call in Clark County, and you can, and they love to come out and, sorry, but they do. They love to come out and, you know, make a trip to Laughlin and see if there's a lot of dust. So that'll be posted for you too if it is a problem. But, you know, also this is a local ownership, and so they're really going to want to be part of this community and not upset people. So I think they'll do their best to do it.
That's why I moved down and retired, because it was easy life. And all of a sudden now we're doing this big construction. It's like, no, I don't want no big construction.
It's
I've already had
kind
enough
of
that.
big construction for
Yes.
Laughlin, but
Sorry,
it's a
but
family.
we have to move on to
Yes,
the next
no
person.
problem. Understand.
Sorry.
Thank you much.
Sorry.
Carrie Larson, Laughlin Chamber of Commerce. My understanding is that 4 of the transmission poles needed to be relocated from the original plan, and I'm wondering why those relocations needed to happen.
Yeah, I can help with this one. So those 4 poles were originally located on lands owned by SCE, and the timing and amount of effort to get an easement for those 4 poles would have extended the construction timeline of the project. So it was easier and faster to route those around the SCE parcel and onto BLM land, where we had already completed the environmental surveys and could keep things moving for the project.
Okay, thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, that answers my question. The timing and how long it would take to work with SCE to get an easement, to have poles where there are already poles, is a travesty. And that land should probably be put to public use through some way with Clark County.
And just for everyone's edification, I know that it's difficult for the time constraints, but if I time one, I have to time everyone. And that's why it's limited to 3 minutes. And as you can see, we are still getting public comments. Thank you.
William Miller, Miller, 3357 Partridge Run, Laughlin. Quick question. In Vegas, they have solar panels, which are nice, and the people benefit. Okay, we're going to get them. Where's our benefit?
So.
What are we going to get from it?
$1 million a year.
Plus all the money that goes into the school system. I mean, there's
Money all
still
goes down,
financial, the Fort Mojave Fund that we have. Yes, we are guaranteed the $1 million plus.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You say so.
Good afternoon. My name is Phil Soper. I live
How do you spell your last name, sir?
Soper.
Thank you.
I live at 2501 Camel Trail Drive. Y'all know where that is?
It's way out there.
way south. Okay, I'm the only house out there by the two big water tanks, milepost 3.1. I'm a half a mile from Needles Highway. My issue is reflection. Those panels are going to turn to track the sunrise in the morning, okay? It's not an issue that I can't resolve. I can always order darker tint and get better sunglasses. But the route they're going to block, they're going to build right over the top of the Camel Trail, which is, you know the Camel Trail? Okay, it's a, what do they call it? Historical site by Nevada State Park System. It goes from the end, right there at milepost 3.1, all the way to the center of this development, all the way up over the hill, and cuts into 163 at milepost 8. You will not be able to access that. They're going to put panels right over the top of the road, right over the historical road. Why don't you just leave a little easement so we could drive through there? If you go to the end of the road at milepost 3.1 and you look straight ahead, you'll see the trail where it goes up to the west. It goes up over the hill and cuts into 163. Okay, they're going to put a 9.5-foot perimeter fence, security fence around the facility, and I understand that. But we won't be able to have to drive all the way around to the back side of their facility to access the Camel Trail to go up to 163.
That trail is supposed to be open.
It's open.
When they put the thing, as I understand it, the fence is going to be on either side of it.
That would be perfect, like a little alleyway through
Asked them
it.
behind me, but that's what they told me when I asked the same question.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you for your time.
So, just on here,
Yeah.
this is what we're keeping open, the yellow. Is that the same trail
No.
that you're talking about?
No. See here, here's your map. Milepost 4 is up here.
Yeah, that was my
This is the state line.
You should be able to write.
See right here, these little sections right here? I got 30 acres right there.
That's when I asked that question, and they could talk to me.
The Camel Trail, see the Camel Trail goes like this, it's going right to the center of your property.
Got it.
Goes up over 163.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Walter Ron Kemper. I'm the managing partner of Deer Park Development, which owns the 104 acres next to Mr. Soper. We are located east of the proposed solar development and just west of the bridge on the new arterial route between Needles Highway and Arizona. We're in the development business. We'd like to support their development. We've got some concerns. Some of those concerns revolve around traffic patterns. We've got a new bridge. We've got a new road. We don't know if those were taken into consideration during the development studies of this project. We also have some concerns because we're downhill of accepting their drainage. So before we give our support to the project, we'd like to have the opportunity to review those things.
Yeah, you would have to talk to the applicant in regards to that, get that information.
The specifics, but I believe, as they said, the alluvial fan, the drainage studies, those were completed in 2022, and I'll tell you, our bridge has been in the process for 20-plus years, so I mean, that was factored in as well. Where the new bridge, their traffic is going to be somewhat during construction, but after that, it only has 4 to 10 full-time employees. So there won't be a lot of their people coming and going, and 4 to 10 during construction, yes, but the considerations for drainage, for, you know, you being down below them.
And we're talking about the traffic element through their project.
Well, during construction, yes, but once it's open, you're only talking 4 to 10 employees. I didn't think that's really not a large impact for traffic inside, 4 to 10.
We just had like an opportunity to take a look at the traffic study, that's it.
Okay, I believe Clark County has that.
For the bridge or for their project? I would say talk to the applicant about their
Yeah.
traffic study. if
Please
they've done
make
it.
contact, get
Yeah.
their card, and I'm sure they'd be more than happy to give you that.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other comments? Okay, Kathy, if you'd like to make that. With that
Yep.
caveat.
Okay. All right. There isn't another matter. There's just the comments by general public at the end of the meeting. Okay, all right. So, and there's no more public comment on this agenda item, which are these 4.
Okay.
All right. Madam Chair, I'll go ahead and make a motion. My motion will be that we approve UC 250497 Renua I LLC for use permits, waiver of development standards, and design reviews with the recommendation to Public Works for review on offsites in a 5-year period of time on each of the following. Also on UC 250499, County of Clark Administrative Use Permits, Waivers of Development Standards, and Design Reviews. And UC 250501, Renua I LLC, Use Permits, Waivers of Development Standards, and Design Reviews. And UC 250502, County of Clark Administrative Use Permits, Waiver of Development Standards, and Design Reviews.
And I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes.
Motion carries. Okay.
Okay. General business, there isn't any. This is a time for comments by the general public, a period devoted by comments by the general public about matters relevant to the board's jurisdiction will be held. No vote may be taken on a matter not listed on the posted agenda. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Please step up to the speaker's podium, if applicable. Clearly state your name and address, and please spell your last name for the record. If any member of the board wishes to extend the length of a presentation, this will be done by the chairperson or the board by majority vote.
Hello, I will try to be quick here because I know we've had a long meeting. My name is Renee Yepez. I am a citizen here in Laughlin, and I'm also on the Colorado River Heritage Greenway Parks and Trail Council. Thank you, board members, for this opportunity to speak. As a proud resident of Clark County, I stand before you today with a firm belief that the residents of Laughlin share a collective responsibility to safeguard our community's valuable resources. While we all recognize that our economy is reliant on tourism, it is also important to acknowledge that many of our public amenities, such as our schools and parks, are not as publicly visible as those in other parts of Clark County. Because they are often situated away from regular thoroughfares and public view, issues can go unaddressed until they escalate into a serious safety concern or lead to injuries. Over the years, countless residents have willingly assumed the role of vigilant stewards, proactively bringing these matters to the attention of public services and government officials. My purpose today is to uphold that commitment and bring to your attention, several issues that require immediate consideration. We at the Colorado River Heritage Greenway Park and Trail Council are dealing with a really challenging situation at the Colorado River Heritage Park and Trail. Make no mistake, what you hear is a passion and concern for preserving the park's beauty and integrity. The combination of environmental degradation, safety concerns, and the lack of resources or coordinated support from various agencies create a tough spot, especially when it affects both the local community and tourists who come to enjoy the area. I am calling for more direct involvement from organizations like Clark County Parks and Recreation, the United States Bureau of Reclamation, and the National Park Service to take a crucial step to help reverse this problem. As a federal agency are the landowners in the Lake Mead National Recreation Area. And because the park historically was established through agreements with these agencies, I imagine that coordinating with the Town Advisory Board and rallying the community will be necessary to make sure that the needs of the park are properly addressed. I appeal to you all to come to the Colorado River Heritage Greenway Parks and Trail meeting, which takes place the second Monday of each month at 9 a.m. in the large Town Advisory Boardroom, this room we are in, and help us find solutions to get the trail back to its former beauty. I am going to provide copies of this letter to Mark Moskowitz, liaison to Commissioner Knapp, and ask that he provide the letter to the applicable agencies to ensure safety and maintenance. Thank you again for your attention to this matter.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nicholas Kekris, Kekeris, 3665 Needles Highway, Laughlin. This is just in regards to the Big Bend, the water rate raise that we're facing here. I've been going to the meetings as well, he's no longer in the room, as he said that he's been holding, there he is, across the town, and there's just a cause for concern, like as far as the costs being, from what they were explaining, is that we don't have enough water. Yet, you know, Carrie brought up at the last meeting that we're only utilizing 60% of our reserves. So there's still like a 40% reserve surplus that we have. And what's happening is that because they're having it seems like they're having the community supplement the Colorado Bell going under, because that was their excuse for raising the rate, that they lost their revenue by the Colorado Bell going out of business and by the mall not providing any revenue as well. So I guess my question is, like, I asked them at that meeting, like, why can't we incentivize people to come in, develop, and procure more revenue, you know, outside of the casino? If they don't have this is my first meeting, so it's hard for me to get it all in order here. But they're claiming that they have an obligation to Colorado Bell, which has been abandoned and left for dead, right? And that we can't use the water that was allocated to the Colorado Bell. And as opposed to using that water, they want to pass the deficit on to the citizens and small businesses to fund this $4 million deficit that we were in, or now $2.6 million deficit that they're currently holding. Why doesn't the Colorado Bell have an obligation to reciprocate that to Laughlin and to either fix what's going on, sell, or, you know, there's no stipulation for them to just let this continuously, like, just go downhill. You know do you get what I'm saying? Like, we have to supplement the income of the Big Bend water as the residents here.
Unfortunately, we can't even address the issues that you've raised, and
My time is up. Yeah, sorry, I should have came more prepared. Sorry, I just.
Okay, at this
it's
point,
been a
we
long,
can't
it's been a
address
long
it.
meeting listening to all this, and my thoughts are jumbled. But long story short is, I think that it's unfair for the people, the residents of the community, to have to supplement the income of a casino that still has an active gaming license that they pay themselves, their employees to go down there.
If you can stay a few minutes, we'll adjourn this meeting, and I'll try and bring you up to date.
Yeah.
And I'll go over some history if you have a few minutes, but we'll adjourn this meeting, and I'll take some time, and I'll kind of clarify everything for you.
Yeah,
Because some
I
of the information that you've said is very off, and I'll help you with that.
Okay, yeah, I would love that. I would love clarity, yes.
Okay, is there anyone else? Our next meeting date is September 9th, 2025, in this room at 1:30, and I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Thank you. We're adjourned.